guys, welcome in. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Happy Monday. Thanks for spending it with us. Buckle up. It's the next 3 hours of Indiana news, politics, and government like you won't get anywhere else. And, of course, the big story right about the time we were getting off the air on Friday was that the Bears are coming to Hammond, Indiana. Or are they? That's the big question. It certainly seemed like the politicians think the Bears are coming to Hammond, Indiana. But look, words matter not when it's all said and done. It's all about when somebody signs on the dotted line. And the words the Bears used in their announcement about Hammond was pretty interesting. Now, coming up here next hour, we're going to have Chuck Pullen join us. Chuck is the morning voice on WJOB. It's a Hammond radio station, voice of the region, talk station in the region. And Chuck's going to walk us through region speak. Like, what did the Bears actually say? What are the people of the region thinking? What are the people of Hammond thinking? What does this site even actually look like in Hammond? So you don't have to take my word for what I'm about to tell you. Chuck Pullen, voice of WJOB, the region radio, going to join us to talk about what actually is going on up there. Because one of the things Chuck's going to point out, and we'll talk about here in just a moment, is the way we do business down here, that's not how people do business in Chicagoland. And so a lot of moving parts. We'll get to some of them here, but stick around because I will give you a voice from the area if you're like, Rob's full of it. Rob has no idea what he's doing. Rob has no idea what he's talking about. Okay, fair enough. We'll get somebody from the area, the voice, the morning voice of the region, WJOB Radio. Chuck Pullen will join us next hour. Okay. Let's talk about what the Bears actually said, and then we'll work through what it might mean, shall we? Because all of our politicians, whether it was Braun or Micah or Todd Young, by the way, did you notice how ecstatic Todd Young got when it was like, hey, it's an opportunity to take money from people and give it away to connected people? Todd Young was like, sign me up for that, baby. Sign me up for that. All right, so here's what George McCaskey, the owner of the Bears, Kevin Warren, president of the Bears, here's what they said on Friday. Quote, yesterday, the Chicago Bears Board of Directors met and voted to advance our stadium development in Hammond, Indiana, with the exact site to be selected. We believe in a world-class stadium project in Hammond will transform the region, connecting Northwest Indiana to the south side of Chicago through the Loop and across neighborhoods and suburbs stretching north of the city. It will bring Chicagoland together and deliver new opportunities to its residents and businesses. All right, let's go back to the beginning part of this statement because that's what matters most. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, here is how the Bears ownership actually works. So the lineage of the Bears ownership is that they were founded and coached and led by George Halas. George Halas is essentially the founder of the National Football League. And he owned the team until his death in the early 1980s. Upon his death, he passed the team on to his children, which ultimately became, because one of his children died very young, it ultimately became Virginia McCaskey. Virginia McCaskey is the daughter of George Halas and for all intents and purposes became the owner of the Chicago Bears. There's been some minority owners over the years, but for all intents and purposes, she owns the Chicago Bears or owned the Chicago Bears. She lived to be 9 million years old, and then last year she passed away. I think she was like 103 or something like that when she died. Her children, she had numerous children, who then became the board of directors for the Chicago Bears. George McCaskey, the way the National Football League works is there is a, whatever they call him, a governing partner or whatever, a guy who's in charge. George McCaskey is that person. He is the voice who speaks for the Chicago Bears, but there is a board of directors made up of the children of Virginia McCaskey. So when he's talking about the board of directors, that's who he's talking about. The heirs to Virginia McCaskey, ultimately the heirs of George Halas. So when he talks about the board of directors, he says, and this is interesting, voted to advance our stadium development project in Hammond with the exact site to be selected. He didn't say we're coming to Hammond. He didn't say the Bears are moving to Hammond. He didn't say it's a done deal. He certainly didn't say the Bears have signed an agreement with the state of Indiana to come to Hammond. Voted to advance our stadium project in Hammond. Those words, and by the way, it was a press release. So the words were very, very carefully crafted. Advance. Not final. Not we're coming. Not it's all over with. Advance. Now, the Indiana politicians, and by the way, in just a moment, we're going to try something new here on the show. We're going to start incorporating audio into the program. Now, we think this is going to go okay. But like with anything else we do here, you guys are the first ones to know. So this could be the greatest thing we've ever done and totally change the show, or it could all blow up and the computer could stop working, and we'll be like, hey, we got to figure out something different. The great thing about this program, we don't pretend to be anything we're not. We have no shame on this program, and we try everything. The first time we do it for real, you're going to hear it. So coming up here in just a moment, we're going to play some really conflicting audio from two prominent Indiana politicians. We're going to play you, Wish TV spoke with Speaker of the House Todd Huston, and they also spoke with the governor, Mike Braun. Now, what's fascinating is compare and contrast the audio you're going to hear from Todd Huston, Speaker of the House, where he's saying, oh, it's over, it's done. And then Braun, much more measured in his approach, although it was interesting, there was a uniformed pretty much voice from the Indiana politicians, including Braun, basically saying, hey, welcome to Chicago, welcome from Chicago to Hammond, Chicago Bears. Braun's words over the weekend were much more measured than the words that he said in the Twitter post, the press release that he put out after the Bears made their announcement. So why don't we go ahead and give this a try? You're first going to hear, we call it in the business, we call it a montage. And you're going to hear first from Todd Huston, the Indiana Speaker of the House, and then you're going to hear from the governor, Mike Braun, back-to-back, compare and contrast. Take a listen.
They're coming to Hammond, Indiana. It's awesome. It's a great news for the state of Indiana.
To people who have a little bit of hesitancy, what would you say? This is a done deal?
Done deal. This is going to happen in Hammond, Indiana, and we can't wait to start putting shovels in the dirt.
Do you have any concerns that Illinois calls a special session, gets their own bill through, and intercepts this in overtime?
I think the Bears have chosen Indiana. It's a big deal. I mean, a big deal. It's not just about a stadium. It's about everything that will happen around the stadium, the other growth, the fact that everybody, when people see one of the biggest brands in the country, not just in the NFL, biggest brands in the country, move to Northwest Indiana, host their games there, see the transformational effect it's going to have, and be able to show a blimp over the top of it and see all the great activity that's going to be happening around it. You can't put a price on it. How awesome is that? It's a big deal.
Well, before I became a senator or a governor, spent a lot of time in the real world running a business for 37 years, and real estate was a big portion of it. And on real estate deals, especially big ones, you really don't count those chickens until they're hatched.
All right. There you go. I don't think anything broke on that. It's our new voice. And look, the way we do the audio is going to change. Jason and I over the weekend were like, we should start incorporating audio into the show. And we were like, yeah, why don't we do that? And we were like, I don't know. And we said, well, we'll give this a try today, and it'll change. But let us know what you thought about that, guys, by the way, because we're going to do this today as like a work in progress. How does this audio come out? You guys let me know in the YouTube chat. Speaking of YouTube chat, don't forget, if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to our channel. That gets you in to the YouTube chat. A great selection, a great group of hundreds and hundreds of very, very kind, engaged audience members. All you got to do, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Okay, so did you hear the difference there? Where Todd Huston, the Speaker of the House, is like, yeah, it's done. It's all over. There's nothing to even think about. It's over. And then Braun was like, well, as a business guy, nothing's done until it's done. Braun gets it. Were you able to turn that back down? Okay, all right. We're okay, perfect. It sounded good. Great. We're hot damn, we're off and running. we're it's like when Pinocchio became a real boy. We're a real podcast now. We can play audio. You don't just have to listen to me blabber for 3 hours. Okay. But you notice the difference there, guys. You notice the selling point and the measured tone from Braun because he gets it, right? He understands, and this is what Chuck Poland's going to talk with us about next hour, which is in the region, they do business a little different. Nothing's decided until it's decided. Now, let's go over the responses from the Illinois politicians to this, because this was maybe the most wild thing of all. They don't appear to have any urgency whatsoever, and they're blaming the Bears. Like, it's like some girl that you were with, and then she breaks up with you, and you really want her back, but then publicly you're like, yeah, she was awful. Good luck to whoever has her next. We didn't want her anyway. Okay, here's what the governor of Illinois said, J.B. Pritzker. Quote, the Bears have built a storied legacy in Illinois for over 100 years, but have spent the last 6 years, and especially the last few months, shifting their position on a stadium location. That has hindered their progress. Pritzker's like, these guys have been horrible to deal with. They can't make up their damn mind on where they're going to go or who they're going to work with. These guys have been a nightmare. Today appears to be another instance of that after Illinois leaders have been working with the Bears in good faith. Governor Pritzker has always been clear that he wants the Bears to stay in Illinois and still remains open to a sensible solution that protects taxpayers. Okay, it's like if your girl, she left you, and the guy that she's going to, like, you look like Buddy Hackett, and the guy she's going to looks like George Clooney. And she leaves, and people are asking you, hey, Harold, what happened to your girl? Well, she was really difficult to deal with. She never made up her mind where she wanted to go to dinner. She didn't know whether she wanted to be in a long-term relationship. And if she wants to go with that guy that looks like Clooney, well, that's on her. I'm not going to have any part of it. I'll be right here when she wants to come back to Buddy Hackett, who makes $9 an hour. Like, that's what he just did right there. The Bears are considering leaving Illinois for Indiana because Indiana is giving them all the stuff. That's what this is all about. Indiana is giving the Bears all the stuff. They're taking money from us, and they're giving it to them. If you're the Bears, it's a home run deal. If you're the Bears, it's awesome. Now, let's also clarify, and I can say this as a lifelong Chicago Bears fan, the Bears are a horribly run organization. Virginia McCaskey had no idea what she was doing running the Chicago Bears. The Bears are one of the most chaotic, worst-run organizations in the National Football League. They have an extremely loyal fan base. They have an extremely hardcore set of fans, and it extrapolates across the country. A lot of that's because of the 85 Bears. But in terms of the day-to-day operations of the Bears and how they are run, they're a dumpster fire. And the son, George McCaskey, is every bit as incompetent. Take it from me, as a guy who spent 40 years watching the Chicago Bears. They are awful. They are a dumpster fire. They have no idea what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. None. And so I don't doubt that when Pritzker talks about the Bears not making up their mind, I don't doubt it's been very frustrating. But there's an old saying, he who controls the gold makes the rules. In this case, he who controls the football team makes the rules. It doesn't have to be a well-run National Football League team. There's only 32 of them, guys. They're all multi-billion-dollar operations. The National Football League is arguably the most powerful sports league in the world now. Some people, certain soccer leagues people may make a case for. But when you look at the global expansion of the National Football League is probably the most powerful sports league in the world. They may be the most powerful collectively organization in the world. And so you don't have to be competent. You just have to have ownership of a team. So that's what you deal with, right? Again, to use the analogy, it's like dating a Broad Ripple 9. She doesn't have to be normal. She can be completely crazy. That's what you get when you're good looking. And dealing with the Chicago Bears is the equivalent of dealing with a totally psychotic Broad Ripple 9. Hey, there's a lot of benefits, baby. There's a lot of good times. Oh, sure. When the sun's up, it's insane. But hey, when the sun goes down, oh yeah, all the feels. All the feels. That's the Bears. I don't doubt that the Bears, watching the Bears be run for 40 years and how they run the on-field product, that the McCaskies have been very difficult to deal with. They have said conflicting things. They've told different people different things, and they've probably gone back on what the politicians perceive as their word at some point. I mean, they bought that property in Arlington Heights and put hundreds of millions of dollars into it without a guarantee from the General Assembly. Who does that? Why would they do that? I mean, there is now, appears to be, strong evidence that the Bears gave conflicting accounts to the Illinois General Assembly about their engagement with the city of Chicago, and it likely tanked the original deal, which was pilot payment in lieu of taxes at Arlington Heights. The Bears claim they'd talked to the city once during a certain time frame. FOIA requests appeared to show 6 times. And the Chicago lawmakers were like, well, hey, if Chicago's still in play, we're not giving this away to Arlington Heights. The state of Indiana is going to find out real quick what it's like to deal with the McCaskies. Just like many players, many general managers, many coaches over the years have found out what a nightmare the franchise actually is. Now, just like with the Broad Ripple 9, state of Indiana may not care. Hey, big cost, big reward for us in terms of the bright, shiny object. We'll go for it. But I think there's probably a lot of truth in what Pritzker has said. Now, Illinois is a dumpster fire itself. It's not like Illinois is some well-oiled machine. But this is the equivalent of having been in a long-term relationship. You look like Buddy Hackett. The chick's had enough of you. She thinks she's insane. We've clarified that, right? Like the chick is insane. But she's a Broad Ripple 9. And some guy who looks like George Clooney has offered to take her out, offered to be a replacement, and has a wallet like George Clooney. And so now there's confliction, right? The chick's insane. There's emotional attachment to you. You look like Buddy Hackett. The guy who looks like George Clooney and has a wallet like George Clooney says, hey, come on over here. And that's where the McCaskies are. Here's what the mayor of the city of Chicago said. Over the last several years, the Bears have stated their intentions in multiple jurisdictions. Today's announcement is not surprising. It's also not surprising that Bears officials have stated this vote does not mean a move to Hammond is a done deal. Bingo, right? The Chicago mayor who flaps his gums a lot said the quiet part out loud. This vote does not mean a move to Hammond is a done deal. Without a final site selection, until we see shovels in the ground in Hammond, the city will continue to engage in discussions grounded in the interests of our residents. I don't think Chicago's out of play. I don't think Arlington Heights is out of play. I think the Bears did this as a move to see who and what would come running back to them. And I'm going to ask Chuck Poland at 10 o'clock, hey, how did the Bears save face on this? Like, what if they pull back? All the Indiana politicians have already said they're coming here. I think you're going to find Chuck's answer fascinating. Because to us, like normal, decent people, were like, how could you just say this and then not go there? I think you'll find the interview at 10 o'clock fascinating. Here's what the Illinois Speaker of the House said. While Indiana is willing to raise taxes and promise $1 billion in taxpayer funds, Illinois is focused on the needs of working families who want relief at the pump, at the store, and on their insurance bills. Not taxpayer-funded stadiums, Illinois remains open to ongoing efforts to secure the Bears in Illinois. That sounded like posturing to me, right? That certainly sounded like posturing to go, hey, if they leave, we didn't give away $1 billion to a bunch of billionaires, which Indiana is doing. There is irrefutable evidence that Indiana is taking billions of dollars. We don't know exactly how much, but in the billions, could be plural, of dollars from poor and middle-class people and giving it away to billionaires. Look at how the project is being funded. It's being funded on tax increases. Now, they're creating a taxing district to take taxes that wouldn't have existed without the taxing district. I'll give you that. That's a part of the equation. But what are many of the primary taxes? They're taxes on food, right? They're enacting a new food and beverage tax for people who live in the area. Not just in the district, but in these counties, Porter and Lake counties. they're enacting a hotel tax. A lot of people are going to stay at hotels that have nothing to do with the Bears Stadium or the Bears events. They're enacting a ticket tax. I don't as much have a problem with the ticket tax because you got to go to the game. You got to go to the game. But the big one, and the one everybody should care about, whether you live in that area or not, because you're going to pay for it one way or another, is the siphoning of the toll roads. So the state has agreed to allow the toll road, the I-80 toll, to continue to raise its toll fee twice a year, and that will generate $700 million to the state of Indiana. However, the governor has alluded to, and other members of the General Assembly have alluded to, that most of that money is going to go to the Bears Stadium. They're going to use it for infrastructure around the Bears Stadium. So INDOT already had to cancel like 300 projects because they don't have any money, or at least they say they don't have any money. The governor has proposed raising taxes on I-70, or creating taxes on I-70, $6.5 billion in tolls. And you're going to take $700 million and siphon that off to the Bears. That means one of two things. Either more projects won't get done, so your roads are going to suffer, or there's going to be more tolling other places, i.e. I-70, to pay for the Bears to have the stadium. Everyone in Indiana is going to pay for the Bears to have this stadium one way or another if it goes forward. It's not rocket science, guys. There's a whole lot of tax increases that are going in to paying for the Bears to have this stadium. So we'll touch on this a couple more times throughout the course of the program today. Stick around the 10 o'clock hour. It's going to be a fascinating interview. Don't take my word for what I just said. Chuck Poland, WJOB, voice of the region, he will be with us to talk about exactly what we've gone into, which is this thing a done deal? How does business actually work in the region, and are our lawmakers jumping the gun by welcoming the Bears to Hammond? So coming up here next, the Democrats had their convention over the weekend. Beau Bayh won. A lot of people would say it was a resounding victory. I don't know, though. I don't know. Was this the dominant win that he needed? We'll talk about that. We'll play some audio from Beau Bayh now that we know we can do the audio. But first, did you guys know the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro in Brazil? Many of you have been, by the way, have been raving about the atmosphere, the decorum. Did you know that it offers more than just a fabulous made-from-scratch meal at the bistro? It also has an adjoining cottage, great for a perfect, relaxing weekend away with a scenic waterfront view. The cottage offers 3 bedrooms, 2 baths with spa-like tile showers, full kitchen, living room with a fireplace, laundry facilities, and a full deck overlooking the lake. And Andy, who made our sign, by the way, Andy, the constructor of the fabulous Rob Kendall Show sign, when you stay at the cottage, the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro Cottage, he delivers your breakfast in a picnic basket at 8:30 each morning. Plan the perfect weekend away at the scenic Honeysuckle Hill property on the water in beautiful Brazil. To book, visit their website, honeysucklehillb.com. honeysucklebee.com. honeysucklehillbee.com. Oh, and by the way, the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro, they wanted you to know that they're going to have a special meal plan for Father's Day. They got that brunch buffet, special brunch buffet for Father's Day, Sunday, June 21st. Get a load of this brunch buffet. Fried Atlantic cod, pork burger sliders, pasta salad, corn on the cob, kickin' baked beans, Dolly's potato salad, peach cobbler a la mode, and a non-alcoholic drink of your choice. Do something different for Father's Day, brunch buffet at the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro. So, to reserve your spot at the cottage or get that fabulous brunch buffet on Father's Day, call to reserve today, 812-443-3003, 812-443-3003. So when we come back, we'll talk about the Democrat convention, Beau Bayh's win. Was it dominant enough? What happens now? Plus, Jason went to Shelbyville on Friday, and we got something big planned for you with that as well. We'll tell you about all that and more when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance, so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for joining us. Happy Monday. Coming up here in just a moment, Democrats had their convention, state of Indiana, over the weekend. Beau Bayh with a big win. But the question I have is, was it big enough? I thought the responses from the Blythe Potter voters were very interesting, and so I want to get into that in just a moment. Before we do that, though, couple of programming notes, reminders, housekeeping items. You know the drill here, guys. If you haven't done so yet, help us grow this program. We call it like, share, and subscribe. Those are the 3 steps you can take every day to help us continue to grow this program dedicated to Indiana news and politics and government. First of all, like the feed, like the show, no matter where you're at. If you're watching us live or on demand on YouTube, give us that thumbs up. It really does help us grow this program, guys. Second of all, share the feed, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you're at. We're doing Indiana news and politics and government unlike anybody else. And third, subscribe to our channel, wherever you're listening from. If you're with us on YouTube, subscribe there. If you're with us on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, all the places, we love you guys. All of those on-demand listeners are fabulous on-demand listeners. We love you guys. You don't get enough love and attention. Thank you to you. Subscribe to that feed. And if you're on Apple, Spotify, any of those places, give us those 5-star reviews. It really helps us grow the program. Couple of thank yous. Don't forget, we have a support button up at robkendallshow.com. If you head over to Rob Kendall Show, you like what we do, you want to support great local content, commentary, journalism, if you want to call it that, all of the stuff we do here each day on the Rob Kendall Show that nobody else will do here in Central Indiana. You can do that by hitting the support button, top of the page, robkendallshow.com, whether it's $1, $5, $10, $10,000, whatever it might be. We appreciate you guys, hundreds of you who support our program. Joe, our guy Joe, over the weekend, generous contribution from robkendallshow.com, and got a chance to meet our guy C Mills, YouTube chat star. He made Rob Kendall Show shirts for the program. I'll be showing those here a little bit later on in the show. And guys, they're standing right over there. They're sitting right over there, and I left them there. And we're doing all this stuff with the audio now. And anyway, we'll show them later on in the program. Our guy C Mills, I got a chance to meet him. He's a Brownsburg guy, and we met, and chatted for a little bit. Thanks to C Mills for the T-shirts. One other thing, and then we will get back to the show. Join us June the 27th, live show. Mad Hatter Comedy Club Event Center in Greenwood. Going to be a fun little evening together. Chance to celebrate you guys. We are 14 weeks. So we are beginning our 15th week of the Rob Kendall Show. I feel like we're like, was it Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie Presley when they came out at the Music Video Awards, and they said it would never last. That's us. They said it would never last. Here we are, week 15, Rob Kendall Show. Join us as we have it'll be a fun summer evening together, guys. Chance for you to meet your friends from the YouTube chat. We try to make the tickets super affordable. We're going to laugh. We'll tell jokes. We're going to roast politicians. The Rob Kendall one-man show, where you guys are the star. Our way to say thank you. June the 27th, Mad Hatter Comedy Club Event Center in Greenwood. Over the weekend, producer Jason on Friday. That's over the weekend, right? He went to on Saturday. That's right. He went back. Went to Shelbyville, interviewed some engaged people who are very, very, very concerned and upset about the massive data center complex that's going in there, and these comments, these ridiculous comments that we talked about last week from the mayor, basically dumping on the look of the property of any person who had a no data center sign in their yard. Jason got some great interviews, some great video. He's putting together a montage of that because, look, guys, the data centers are the conversation right now, not just in central Indiana, but across our state. What do we do with them? How do we make them work? How do we make them work for the communities? How do we protect the tradition and the feel and the history of the land, and yet, you know, provide for thriving communities? These are the conversations that are taking place everywhere, in communities across central Indiana, across the state of Indiana. And so Jason has a fabulous montage he's working on that I think you guys are going to love, that really gets a feel of how these data centers are dividing communities. And probably on Wednesday, we'll have that for you as he's putting that together. All right, guys, is your driveway showing signs of wear? Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals. They can bring not just your driveway, but your sidewalks, your patios, any concrete structure. Seal Now can bring those concrete structures back to life. The clean, seal, and stain professionals. But Seal Now does more than just concrete. They also do wood. So your decks, your pergolas, your fences, all of the things that are outdoor, if it's wood, if it's concrete, Seal Now can bring it back to life. Here's what you do. You go to sealnow.com, 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 and you can see other people's work, other people's outdoor surfaces, the work that Seal Now does. You can schedule a free estimate, and if you mention, hey, heard about you guys by sponsoring the Rob Kendall Show, you can get 20% off any long-term ceiling project. 20% off any long-term ceiling project simply by mentioning you heard about them on the Rob Kendall Show. Head over to sealnow.com. All right, so the Democrats had their state convention on Saturday, and the big thing that came out of that is, as predicted, Beau Bayh was nominated as the candidate for Secretary of State. He was going up against Blythe Potter. We had Blythe on the show. She was challenging him from the left, and a lot of people were kind of unsure how that convention was going to go. Not whether Bayh would win per se, but by how much. Because there are a lot of Democrats, just like Republicans, that are very disenchanted, shall we say, with the establishment wing of their party, with the power structure of their party. And Potter really represented the voice of people who were not happy with the direction of Democrats, both in Indiana and nationally. And the question was, how many of these people are delegates? How many of these people are going to be at that convention, and what sort of quote-unquote damage can they do to Bayh's name, to his brand? How much of a disruptor can they be? Ultimately, Bayh won 61% of the vote. He got 1,385 votes to Potter's 883. Now, look, I said this yesterday on social media, and I 100% stand by it. Blythe Potter running was very good for Beau Bayh. She was a very worthy adversary, and she made him work, and she made him a better candidate. We interviewed Beau in November, and then I think we interviewed him in April. And he was an infinitely better candidate in the 5 months that had passed. And I think a big part of that was he had to go out and work. He had a viable challenger who really tapped into a big portion, the base of the Democrat Party, and Blythe Potter ran a good campaign, especially by Democrat convention standards. She really maximized the lack of revenue that she brought in. She maximized the money she was able to get. And you look at what she spent per vote versus what Bayh spent per vote. She did a good job. She should be very proud. And she strikes me as the sort of person who, if she hangs around and really hones her message, she's somebody in the future that I think will be a part of Democrat Party conversations. And so that ended up being good for him. He had to go work, he being Beau Bayh. He had to go out there. He had to work. He had to make his case to delegates. And ultimately, he ends up with 61% of the vote. And so my question became, because I always think it's interesting after these conventions to listen to the comments of the people who went. And in the case of the people who voted for Potter, I'm talking about like the Jesse Brown, socialist member of the Indianapolis City County Council. In the case of Potter, there seemed to be a lot of Potter voters who are not committed yet to voting for Bayh in a general election. There seemed to be a lot of people on social media. Now, look, the internet is not real life, but it's what I have to go by. There are a lot of people who said, I'm not doing it. The Democrats have, in their mind, nominated a lot of moderate, middle-of-the-road, I think they used the term corporate candidates, was a phrase I saw thrown out there, and they said, we're not doing it this time. Now, there's a lot of people who say that, and then as they get closer to the election, they say, well, what choice do I really have? Do I want to let the Republicans have the ballot? And that was, interestingly enough, that was the response that I was seeing on these forum boards, on these social media posts from a lot of people. Hey, look, you may not like Bayh. He may be too corporate. He may be too donor lobbies. He may be too mainstream Democrat for you. But do you really want to give it to the Republicans again? And that's the conversation the Democrats are going to struggle with, these left Democrats are going to struggle with over the next couple of months. Because Bayh can win. That's the crazy thing. That's the first time in a long time Democrats have had a viable shot to win a statewide office. He can win, especially if Greg Ballard gets on the ballot. Beau Bayh can win if Greg Ballard gets on the ballot. But Beau Bayh cannot win without a unified voting bloc from his party. If 20% of the Democrats sit it out, so let's say Potter basically got 40% at the convention. Let's say half of those type of people just say, no, I'm not doing it. Then he can't win. Bayh's path to victory really centers around a couple of things. One, Ballard needs to get on the ballot. If Greg Ballard fails to acquire the 37,000 signatures, Bayh's path to victory gets a lot tougher because Ballard's going to pull from the Republican, whoever it is, whether it's Diego, whether it's Engling, Shelton, any of them. He will pull more if it's Diego, but Ballard's damage is going to come in what he does to the Republicans. I think Ballard will also get some people who otherwise may not vote or would skip it that will vote for him. But let's face it, the sandbox he's going to play in, I think, will be majority people who are either Republican or independents who tend to vote Republican. And he will get a lot of people in the middle. But Bayh's path to victory gets easier if Ballard is involved. But there's not enough of the Ballard's going to pull for Bayh to win without the entire Democrat Party voting as a bloc. Bayh's not going to get to 50% under any scenario. He's got to get to that 42, 43, 44% total, and that's going to be very tough to do without Democrats voting as a bloc. Because there are a lot of people who will never vote for a Democrat on the Republican side. They would vote for Ballard. They would not vote for a Democrat. Here in just a moment, we're going to play some audio from Beau Bayh. He sat down with the Star the other day, and I thought some of the back and forth about his candidacy was very interesting. But after the convention, he said, quote, Hoosiers are, and this is interesting, the one thing about Bayh, he's getting much better as a candidate. It's like the machine is becoming self-aware. He's figuring this out, and I didn't have any doubt he would, given his lineage. He's getting very good as a candidate very fast. Here's what he said afterwards. Quote, Hoosiers are ready for something different, something better. They're tired of insider dealing. They're tired of the corruption. That's why I'm going to open an independent audit to root that out on day one. Beau Bayh has decided, rightfully so, he's running against Diego Morales, whether Diego Morales is the candidate or not. And it's a great move. Don't give the Republicans a free pass or a bailout just because Diego's not the nominee. The Republicans in the power structure have known what Diego Morales is. They have known the shenanigans he was pulling. They have known the scandals he was a part of. And in many ways, they have covered it up. They have ignored it, ignored in air quotes. They have enabled it. They've given him money. They've endorsed him. Beau Bayh is very smart to run against Diego Morales because Diego Morales is a symptom of the Republican Party. Don't give these people a free pass just because they want to rig the system to put their new flavor of the month in there with England. I thought that was great that Bayh's comments, almost all of them, came back to Diego. Make Diego the issue in this campaign. Don't let these Republicans get a free pass. All right, so Bayh did sit down before the convention with the Indy Star, and they had an interesting back and forth about his campaign, about how he's going to run, about why he's going to run. Take a listen.
Partisanship shouldn't be a part of this role, but so why run as a Democrat for you? Why align with that party?
Well, there's certain elements of my party's platform that I agree with. There's certain elements that I disagree with. Rarely in life are you going to find yourself agreeing with a political party, with an entity, with your work colleagues on every issue. But if you agree on maybe more of the most important, the majority of the important things, then that's how you make a decision. But that's not to say that I don't look forward to working with members of the other party. One of the reforms I just mentioned at the outset here was an end to straight ticket voting. There is some appetite for that across the aisle in the Republican Party to end straight ticket voting because they think that's the best thing to do for our state. So just your party affiliation should not prevent you from working together with people of the other party to deliver results. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes in our government, not only is that the right thing to do, it's necessary if you really want to be realistic about getting things done for people. Yeah.
Okay, that was Beau Bayh speaking with the Indy Star before the convention. Obviously, he's the nominee now. So a couple of things about this. Number one, 61% sounds like a big number. I told you guys I think anything less than 70 was going to be viewed as a defeat. Not a defeat in the sense of he lost the election. But given the advantages that he had, which is every institutional advantage possible, infrastructure, name, money, all of the stuff, right? I mean, he spent, our old pal Indy reporter did the math on this, and I forgot to copy and paste the number, but he spent something like almost $400 a vote at that convention. Potter spent something, as I recall, like $66 a vote. He had a massive fundraising advantage, and the name ID, and the infrastructure, and a lot of these county chairs, and et cetera. For him to not get 70% of the vote, I mean, I think it's a testament to the campaign Potter ran. Look, Potter's a big lefty, but she ran a good campaign. She's very likable in person. I'll tell you, one of the major mistakes she made, though, she let Destiny Wells introduce her at that convention. I have no idea why she did that. Absolutely none. That was a horrible mistake. She should have had me. But you meet her in person. She's very likable. She was a good candidate for the left to put out there, especially at this convention, because she is very liberal in her views, but she's very affable about them. She's very likable. She was on this program. I said she came off great. But I think that's an issue that Bayh's going to have to reckon with, which is he barely got 60%. Or 6 out of every 10 voters in his own party at convention. That's a lot of people, for all the advantages that he had, saying they want something different. And one of the things that Bayh's going to have to struggle with is how do you get those people to come back? He can't run to the left. If Bayh runs to the left, he's done. Bayh has to essentially run as a Republican, as a Democrat, if that makes sense. And one of the things that Bayh's going to have to do to run as a Republican is he's going to have to take and hold on to these mainstream positions, not just on Secretary of State stuff. If the public starts to see him as catering to the crazy people, he will lose. Bayh's path to victory is we don't fear him. We will allow him to win because we don't fear him. And if he starts getting into the shenanigans to appease the crazy people to get them to vote for him, he's in big trouble. So how does he balance it? How does he get? He's never going to get the Jesse Brown people. But I'm talking about the non-vocal, Jesse Brown type people. The people who are left, how do you convince those people you have no other choice? Do you want to win or do you not want to win? That's the thing he's got to say. Here's my deal. Here's what I believe. Here's what I'm running for. Would you like to walk out of the wilderness or not? These lefty people do believe. The problem with them, though, is they believe that the Bernie Sanders people can get elected in Indiana. They believe it. Of course, they can't outside of the hubs, the Bloomingtons, the Indianapolis, the region. But how does Bayh handle that? The other thing Bayh's got to get better at, and he is to an extent, he's got to get better at bringing the smoke. Bayh is not good at bringing the heat. Like, he says the right things. Like what I read to you on paper, he said it. Remember in Seinfeld, the episode where they keep trying to make Jerry mad? And he's just like, I can't get mad. I feel like that's the way it is with Bayh. And he's a hell of a nice guy in person. I talked to somebody yesterday that is very connected, not in the Democrat or Republican side, not backing a candidate on either party, but very connected. And they agreed with me on this, that they said Bayh is infinitely better in person than he is in a large setting. And that's because of the comfort zone. To be in front of a large crowd and be comfortable, you got to have a real comfort with who you are personally. Like I know when I get asked to go give speeches somewhere, like I'm just going to give the speech. It could be in a, no matter where it's at, whatever event it is. And I recognize that in most places I go speak, there's going to be a portion of the group that's going to hate it. And you got to be comfortable with that. You got to be comfortable knowing you're in a crowd, you're in a room, you're around people that hate your guts. And in the case of Bayh, while he has tapped into something that I think is going to work for him, which is making the election about Diego, he's got to get much more comfortable bringing the smoke. He's very robotic because that's the environment he grew up in. It's not his fault. It's what he's always done. The Bayhs are risk-averse people. His old man was the same way. His grandpa was a little different, but his old man was a very risk-averse politician. But it was a different time. And as Evan Bayh found out when he ran for re-election to the U.S. Senate in 2016, that game don't work anymore. Bayh's got to find a way to effectively bring smoke on Diego Morales and the Republican Party. There's a good chance Diego isn't going to be the nominee, but he's got to make it about Diego, and he's got to make it about the party, and the party covering up Diego. By the way, speaking of Diego, a little bit later on in the program, we're going to play you a clip from the head of the Hamilton County GOP, Mario Massalani, who basically said the people are against Diego because he's Guatemalan. Like if he were American, this wouldn't be an issue, all the crap Diego's pulled. Basically said they're against him because he's Guatemalan. And so Bayh's got, the good thing for Bayh, he's got a couple months now. He's the nominee. He's got a couple months to figure out how to shore up the base of the Democrat Party and get his message down. People start paying attention to this stuff August, September. And that's when the ads are going to start in earnest and all of that stuff. And he's got a couple months to figure out. But I think he's on to something with talking about Diego, whether Diego's the nominee or not. Because the corruption, the scandal, the BS, even though Diego's the one doing it, it was done with the express written consent of the Republican Party in the state. And if he gets good at delivering that message and making people own it, I think he's going to be on to something. Guys, Lauren Wilson, realtor at Properties. If you're thinking about buying or selling your home, Lauren Wilson would love the opportunity to meet with you. Coming up on Wednesday, Lauren's going to be with us, and we're going to talk about just how crazy the real estate market is here in central Indiana. Just how crazy from one neighborhood to the next, from one city to the next, homes are either flying or not moving at all. You need a professional to guide you through the whole process. And the great thing about Lauren, if now's not a great time to sell your home, she'll tell you. Lauren's great at taking money out of her own pocket. She is an advocate for you. I've never met a realtor like her before, where she'll just turn down business if it's not good for the customer. And that's what you need. You need somebody you can trust. You need somebody who's honest. You need somebody who will get to work for you. Guys, do this. Give her a call today at 317-590-2290. Just find out what your house is worth, what it could sell for. She loves to do that for people. She'll sit down, take a look, say, here's what I think we can get for your house. And then she'll find out your goals. What do you want to do? And find out if it's going to be financially feasible for you to do that. Lauren Wilson, Hoosier lifer, military vet, realtor with At Properties. 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Lauren Wilson, realtor with At Properties. Let a Hoosier lifer and military vet get to work for you. All right, here's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Chuck Pullen from WJOB Radio in Hammond is going to join us. And we are going to get to the bottom of what's going on in the region. How are the people up there, the Hammond people, the Chicago people, how are they viewing what's going on with the Bears Stadium? And what are the odds the Bears are actually coming to Hammond? We'll tell you everything you need to know. When we come back, you're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, realtor with At Properties. I would love to get to know you. I know that buying and selling a home is a really big deal. You need a plan in place so you can succeed. And that's where I come in. If you are buying, let me help you find that perfect home. And if you are selling, let me help you find that perfect buyer. Look, we're all Rob Kendall Show fans here. That's why I'd love to get to know you. I'm Lauren Wilson, realtor with At Properties, an Army veteran and a Hoosier through and through. Call me at 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
It is the Rob Kendall Show. Everybody's talking about the Bears these days. We get our view from here in central Indiana. What's actually going on in the region? We got a guy. His name is Chuck Pullen. Chuck is the morning voice on WJOB, the voice of the region, 1230, 104.7 FM. Chuck joins us now. Chuck, hello.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Great. All right. So you're on the Indiana side of all of this. You guys are essentially located right there in Hammond where this whole thing is going to go. What is the reaction from your audience, from the people of the region? Are they on board with the big Bears giveaway?
Well, here's what I'm going to say. Reaction is mixed. I was thinking about this yesterday. Remember what Reagan said about the 9 scariest words? I'm going to nominate a 10th word to that. And that word is transformational. I've heard the word transformational 837 times in the last 24 hours, all from politicians, mind you. And that's what scares me the most, is that the politicians are overjoyed. They can't wait. They love it. And the people are the ones, when you ask about the people, my listeners, they're messaging me going, hey, what's going to happen in my neighborhood? Hey, what's going to happen to my business? Hey, what's going to happen with my taxes? They're the real stakeholders, as we like to say. They're the ones that are reaching out to me going, hey, what's going to happen? And they don't have any answers.
Tell us about the site or sites, because I thought there was kind of a site pick, but then McCaskey was like, now we got to find a site. I was like, I thought we had a site. What do we know about the sites?
Well, it's a very interesting site. It's actually a really nice site. It's it's right near the state line, but there's a problem. I mean, there's a couple problems. One is we, as locals, we've spent about $100+ million developing that site. There's a golf course, there's an amphitheater, a pavilion there. They literally just finished a new fire station. They're building a neighborhood right there. So, I mean, again, this isn't like, like you guys in downstate, you guys find, a big plot of land that used to be a farm and then, start working on it. This is an actual property that has stuff on it. It has businesses. It has a NIPSCO substation on it. It's not just an empty field. There's a lot of stuff there. Not only that, it was one side of it is a slag heap, which if you don't know steel, basically it's a dump. It's a dump for the leftovers for making steel. And on the other side, there was a chemical factory for 100 years. So again, like I saw, some of the Chicago people brought up these concerns about remediation. That's certainly something that may be on the table.
Olin is our guest. He is the morning show guru, 1230, 104.7 FM, WJOB in the region. So tell us about the politics of all this, because you guys are sort of Chicago, you're sort of Indiana. I just can't fathom, as inept as the Illinois General Assembly and the governor are, and the city of Chicago government, that they would just let the Bears skadoodle on out the door. Is there a belief this is still just a play to stay in Illinois, or is there a belief, hey, they're actually coming?
Well, okay, so here's the way to look at this. And I'm going to go on record and say I still think this is a ploy. And here's why. Rob, I don't know, you were on my show not too long ago, and I talked about how the region doesn't know a lot about Indianapolis politics. So I think the reverse is also true, that you guys don't know a lot about the region and Chicagoland politics. Because one of the things about Illinois, as part of that General Assembly, as part of those late night sessions, they passed the largest budget in history, $56 billion, massive new programs, massive new taxes. So again, this is not a state known for being fiscally conservative, highest property taxes tied with New Jersey in the country. At no point have the words fiscally conservative ever come out of Illinois' mouth, except on this one issue. So you have to ask yourself, why is it? Has there been some transformational shift? Are Illinois Democrats finally becoming fiscally conservative, or are they just trying to play hardball? I mean, why is it when you look at, on a bigger picture, this idea that, there's all this pushback with data centers and tax breaks, incentives. This is not a state known for, being fiscally conservative or being squeamish when it comes to spending $1 billion. So why now and why on this one issue? That's what I'm finding interesting.
The thing that's fascinating to me is the Republicans have essentially made Tom McDermott, your mayor up there in Hammond, like the golden boy. Oh, we love McDermott. He's great. Just, what was it, 2 years ago? 4 years ago? These years all run together now. He was a radical leftist. He was totally out of touch. He was a moron when he was running for U.S. Senate. Now they're gonna hand over the keys to a multi-billion-dollar project to that guy. What do we know about McDermott?
Well, so he and I have some history, so I'll be careful. But, here's what I'm going to say. I mean, again, going back to this idea that you guys don't know a lot about what we're doing in the region, we just got off of we just finished spending $1 billion on 8 miles of train track. We're in the middle of spending, and I think the state put up $300 million on that. We're in the middle of building a convention center in Gary. That's another couple $100 million. We have never-ending projects at the Gary airport that you guys are helping support. The state sends a lot of money up here, and you guys know very little about it. So to me, this is just another $1 billion project on the back of another $1 billion project that, and I've been against that, all of them along the way. So, I mean, again, this is really nothing new. This idea that you guys would send a bunch of money up here and kind of say, have fun. And then, again, bipartisan, the other word I'm going to nominate, everybody shows up for the ribbon cutting, the governor, everybody shows up and then goes home. But I mean, again, this is what we do up here. We spend lots of money on projects. Nothing really comes of it. And then we move on to the next project. So to me, this is just another in a line of succession of bad ideas that for some reason Indianapolis has helped us fund.
That was my question. Does it ever get any better? And if not, why do we keep giving you guys money? Because I thought the casino was supposed to be the end all be all, and that doesn't seem to have worked either.
Well, and here's the interesting thing. I actually got started in radio because the day that we decided, so we had 4 casinos in Lake County, and we also decided to pass an option income tax. I said, why do I have both 4 casinos and extra taxes? Like, no other county in Indiana has 4 casinos. Why am I not Las Vegas? Why do I have any taxes at that point? And that's literally what got me into radio, was this idea of like, how am I saddled with all the casinos, all the stuff that comes with it, and more taxes? Like, explain that one to me. And that to me was the catalyst. It's like, look, this is that idea that it's never enough. There's always, I've been fighting referendums, wheel taxes. I mean, again, that's sort of government in a nutshell. There's never enough taxes. And you say, well, the lottery was supposed to take care of that. The casino was supposed to take care of that, right? Now we need a food and beverage tax to take care of that. Like, it's a never ending cycle of taxes. And I know you come from the same world I am. This is our world as we keep going, okay, no, that's not going to happen. And then rinse and repeat, right? I mean, that's our world, is just, they make these big claims, transformational. In the last 24 hours, they've told me, the local guy from the Visitors Bureau told me this thing was going to be used 365 days a year. Somebody told me, Taylor Swift is already booked. Taylor Swift is coming to Hammond. She is booked. It is a done deal. Like, that's what they're telling us. That's what they're saying, that this place will be used every day. Taylor Swift is coming. You pick the band. They are coming. Taylor Swift coming to Hammond, Indiana. I mean, that's the hopium that they're pushing on the people. And then when it fails, they all go, oh, well, on to the next thing.
Chuck Poland, our guest, couple minutes left with him. He's the morning show voice, WJOB 1230, 1047, up in the region in Hammond. Okay, so how would the Bears get out of this? Because I've tried to follow all the Illinois media people and cover this, and the writers, and a bunch of people are saying, well, the words they used, it doesn't mean they're coming. Indiana's jumped the gun saying they're coming. Braun and Todd Young and Mervan and all these other guys are going to look like a bunch of ding-dongs if the Bears don't come. What is the out for the Bears? Or is this just like standard operating procedure up there and these politicians don't understand it?
No, I think it is. I think this is a play. Like I said, at no point do I think the state of Illinois has decided they've seen the light and decided to become fiscally conservative. So I don't think there's a scenario. And it's interesting to see J.B. Pritzker, literally the wealthiest politician in the country, talking about not giving money to billionaires. You know what I mean? The guy who hit his toilet so he wouldn't have to pay taxes. Suddenly he's a man of the people saying, no, we're not. Well, I don't mind giving all the tax breaks, all the programs, $56 billion. But this one issue, we're putting the brakes on this, right? This is the one time we're not going to give billionaires money. So again, like at the end of the day, I think this is a power play by the Bears, but I also think it puts them in a good place because again, it's sort of like, and I was thinking about this, everybody, when you were a kid, you did that thing where you didn't get your way, like when you were 6, you're like, that's fine, I'm running away from home. You started packing your clothes and then you hid in the backyard or at your friend's house for a couple hours. I think that's what the Bears are doing. And I was listening to some people earlier talking about, the amount of money that they invested so far in site surveys and all this stuff. So look, that's a drop in the bucket when you talk about saving, $1 billion. Like, look, you're going to spend a few $1 million on the dog and pony show. We're going to send a drill out to Hammond to pretend like we're doing core samples. And again, it's a good show. It's a good show. But again, at the end of the day, I think that the Bears are doubling down and they're expecting, I'm going to predict that there's going to be this last minute deal. It's going to be this emotional, again, the kid comes home, everybody's hugging, going, look, we're the Chicago Bears just because we're going to Arlington Heights. I mean, I'm not even saying it's interesting how the Chicago group has responded. The mayor and that group has basically said, well, you know what? If they're moving, we'd rather they go to Indiana than Arlington Heights because that's closer anyway. Like they've accepted that they're losing the Bears, but they're like, Indiana, Hammond's like literally the south side of Chicago. It's a neighbor. Let's let them have it. So even like this infighting in Chicago, with the state has been interesting. But again, I think at the end of the day, that's what the Bears are doing. They're positioning themselves. We have this sweetheart deal. We're running away from home. This is your last chance to stop me before I buy a bus ticket to Tulsa. And then, and this is what I think is going to happen. I think there's going to be this big, kumbaya moment with the governor and the McCaskies, and they're going to find the money. That's my prediction.
So how do the Bears square that with Indiana? They just say, we were just kidding. Thanks, bye.
Rob, this isn't the first time they've done this. I remember, I think it was when they were using us for leverage to rebuild Soldier Field, to drop the UFO in Soldier Field. They were going to move to Munster. I lived in Munster, Indiana. We're going to have the Munster Bears. I mean, literally, like we had signs in the ground in this big field. The Bears are coming to Munster. I mean, again, and that was, so this isn't the first time they've played us like this. And that's the thing. Again, I always say history is cyclical. And again, they're just playing us again, and everybody's going to look like fools. And once again, you and I can get back on the show and go, we told you so. Rob Kendall, Chuck Pullen were right yet again.
Hey, Chuck, if you had to put odds, okay, odds they come, odds they don't, odds they're coming to Indiana, what percentage out of 100 would you say the Bears are coming to Hammond, Indiana?
I think as of the other day, we've reached a tipping point. I think we're at like 60-40 Indiana. But again, I mean, like I said, everybody's talking about how great it's going to be. I'm a business owner. I own a small business literally blocks away from this proposed site. I fully expect that I and my other local business owners are going to get priced out of the market. A lot of business owners like, oh, this is going to be great for my restaurant. No, this is not a stadium in a neighborhood. This isn't like Wrigley Field. This is a campus. They want to build a campus with entertainment, with food, with hotels. So everybody that's a mile or two away goes, oh, this is going to be great for business. No, the plan, this is the new plan with stadiums, is bring you to the campus, keep you here, keep your money here, and then send you home. This idea that you're going to stop at a little restaurant in Whiting on your way to the Bears game is kind of ridiculous. But then on top of that, I mean, the other part of this that we need to talk about is our infrastructure. Again, this is a neighborhood. There are literally houses being built across the street. This is a small neighborhood in North Hammond and Whiting that you're going to drop 50,000, 60,000 people on a Sunday in this neighborhood. So when we talk about, the amount of money we're spending, people are asking me like, will our sewers handle this? Will our roads handle this? How is this going to affect? So, I mean, again, I've seen that little pavilion that I mentioned when they have Lil Wayne comes to town and there's 15,000 people, it was gridlock all day. Now you're going to tell me 60 or 70,000 people are going to come on a Sunday and you're going to manage that traffic. I mean, this is the thing. You have to come up and see this is a neighborhood. So like, again, this idea, I always say the buy others, like you say the $1 billion to build a stadium. Well, there's probably another $500 to $1 billion in buy others. We have to rebuild roads, sewers, interchanges with the toll road, all these things that are going to have to come along with it. And at no point have the people in that neighborhood been consulted. At no point have we had open meetings where it's like, hey, what do you guys think about the Bears being your next door neighbor? Because people are asking me like, is my neighborhood going to become a parking lot? Because they're talking about leveling. I mean, again, we're going to reroute a major road. We're going to take out massive, a pavilion, a golf course, a brand new neighborhood, all this stuff. And they're just like, the bulldozers are ready. Like they will bulldoze grandma to kick her out of her house to get the stadium.
Before I let you go, make sure I understood you clearly. They have not even consulted the people of the area. There's been no meetings. There's been no everybody's on board with this.
Right. And that's what happens. That's how this is what happens in the region is that somebody, and I've been through this, like I said, with the train, when hundreds of people lost their homes, little old ladies would walk into, a high school gym and see a red X on their house. And this is how they found out they're losing their home to the train. So these people in North Hammond have been through this. And this is literally the neighborhood next to this neighborhood is the one where dozens of people lost their homes for the train. So they know this game. They know that they will not be consulted. They will not be asked. We will not have a referendum about this. One day they will say, hey, the Bears are coming. Come to this meeting at the local elementary school and find out if your house is being taken or not. That's how we find out around here. No joke.
And we thought it was bad in Indianapolis. You ain't seen nothing until you've seen the region. Chuck Pullen, the voice, the morning show voice, 1230, 104.7, WJOB. We will have you back soon. I agree with you. I think there's a lot of moving parts. Chuck, you're the best. Thank you.
Thank you. You're better. Take care. Have a good weekend.
I like that. I'm going to steal that. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002 or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. You won't believe what the Hamilton County GOP chairman said about Diego Morales and why you guys don't like him. It was unbelievable. We'll play you the audio of that here in just a moment. But first, couple of reminders. If you guys haven't done so yet, and by the way, I know a lot of you are asking, interested, yes, we will post that interview with Chuck Pullen about the Bears and Hammond once we get done with the program here today. Look, that's what we do on our show. We give you different people, not the talking heads you hear everywhere else, but people that are on the ground in these cases. And Chuck is, man, he is the voice of the area. He knows the people up there. He's a region lifer. And the stuff he was saying was fascinating stuff you're not going to hear anywhere else about what's going on, including, and isn't this crazy? It was towards the end of the interview. I hope you guys caught this, that the Bears have not held any sort of public hearings or gotten any sort of residential input up there whatsoever. That's crazy. And it goes back to the idea, have the Bears been playing the people of Indiana? Has this all just been some song and dance? Because they haven't really done any of the like basic stuff if you were serious about moving ahead in Hammond, Indiana. So we'll post that later. When we're done, you guys can go back and watch all that. Couple of reminders. If you haven't done so yet, please like our show today. Hit that little thumbs up button. It really helps us grow the program. We are dependent upon you guys to continue to get the word out about this show that every day is about Indiana news and politics and government you're not going to find anywhere else. Share the feed. Get it out there for us. If you got a Facebook, if you got a Twitter, let people know that we are here. That helps us grow. And, of course, subscribe to the program. We call it like, share, and subscribe. Producer Jason has a Facebook page, too, by the way. If you got a Facebook, just put Producer Jason into your search bar. It's the Rob Kendall Show logo. And he's got a little teaser about that fabulous expose he's working on about going to Shelbyville. And this data center nightmare that those people are facing out there. That's going to be a great part of our Wednesday show. Jason went out, interviewed people, talked to them. Really fascinating. I think it's sort of a microcosm of the data center conversation that's going on across our state. So check that out. Give Producer Jason some love. Just put in Producer Jason, find his Facebook page, stay up to date on a bunch of things going on with the show and going on with him. All right, before we get to the Hamilton County GOP chairman and Diego Morales and what he thinks of you if you're against Diego, let me remind you about our fabulous friends at Bramwell Mackay. You got a leaky chimney, water in the basement, cracks around the exterior of your home. Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants is your authority for chimney repair, tuck pointing, foundation repair, crawl space to basement conversions, basement waterproofing, and more. Bramwell Mackay doesn't just offer quick patches. Their team of 40-year master masons and industry experts address the root cause and provide solutions that last lifetimes. Your home is one of your biggest investments. Treat it that way. Bramwell Mackay. BRAMWELLMCKAY. BramwellMackay.com. Your masonry, foundation, and chimney specialist. Okay, so Mario Massalamani is the Hamilton County GOP chairman. He is a known attorney. He is also law partners with a guy by the name of Chris Jeter, who is a state representative. And he went on a podcast. I believe it's called Larry and Fishers, I think is the name of the guy who does the podcast. He just does all stuff. Fishers, interesting. He's got a Facebook page. Our friend Indy Reporter shared this as well. And he went on this podcast and he basically said that anybody who's against Diego Morales, it's not because of the never-ending scandals. It's not because of the the shenanigans, the BS, the hiring of the brother-in-law, the pick your favorite Diego scandal. The disappearing to India for 10 days, the no-bid contracts, the using state resources for a campaign commercial, like all the stuff, right? We spend a whole show just on Diego's BS. But it's not because of that. It's basically, I mean, he didn't use the word racist, but he basically said it's because Diego's from Guatemala and he's short. Take a listen to this audio, guys.
I think that it's going to be a very interesting and challenging convention. I think that it's going to allow a lot of options for delegates. I don't think this is a bad process for Republicans to have options. I like Max Engling. He's a Hamilton County guy. But I also like Diego Morales. And I think Diego Morales has gotten a unfair shake by the media and by a lot of people, because I think that some of the attacks that he's received would not have been received if he were the prototypical white male from Indiana. But he's a short Hispanic from Guatemala that has a thick accent. And I think sometimes it's easy to pick on him when other people are doing the exact same thing that he's doing, but he's got a bigger target on him.
Crazy, isn't it? You have the head of the Hamilton County Republican Party basically saying that if you're against Diego Morales, it's because he's short. I think at one point he referenced a mustache, and he's from Guatemala. The race card. The Republican Party is now becoming the party of the race card. Mario, let me look into this camera for a moment so you know I'm being very serious, and let me tell you why I'm against Diego. It has nothing to do with him being from Guatemala or Hispanic or short or a mustache. I am against Diego Morales because he has basically been the face of corruption or us for the past 4 years in that office. Brazen, unethical, and corrupt behavior. And everybody knows about it here in central Indiana. Now, there's a chance that Diego somehow gets out of this convention. I wouldn't put it past him. Nothing that will happen at that convention in 2 weeks is going to surprise me at all. Nothing. If Engling wins, not surprised. Diego wins, not surprised. Shelton wins, not surprised. But if Diego wins, it's not. And how, by the way, how would you square that if Diego wins? Hey, everybody's against him because he's short and from Guatemala and has a thick accent, but they also voted for him. They've already voted for him. See how ridiculous, how pathetic this argument is? People have already voted for Diego Morales at a convention. He won, Mario. People are against Diego now because they're sick of the BS, the brazen, never-ending BS, which is what we get from Diego Morales every single day, it seems like. The man disappeared to India for 10 days, Mario. He wouldn't tell people where he was. His staff wouldn't say where he was. He blew off his budget hearing. You know who outed him? The Indians. The Indians told everybody where he was. They were posting about it on social media. That's how he figured it out. Then when you ask him what the hell did you do there, he goes, it was an economic development mission. And then when you say, well, you don't have any economic development responsibilities, what were you doing? Then he just screams at you that you're fake news. The fake WIBC. Remember that? When he was at some motor vehicle advisory board meeting and people were trying to just enjoy their chicken and he started just shouting, the fake Indy Star, the fake WIBC. Oh, and by the way, you know who went with him to India? A venture capitalist. You know who went with him to India? A guy who had a mysterious $80,000 contract, who to this day, we still don't know what he did. Remember that? Remember Raju with the red, white, and blue. Remember that? And then I asked him at the Clay County Lincoln Day, what the hell does that guy do? Well, he checks on the businesses. What do you mean he checks on the business? He checks on the businesses. What do you mean? Is he hello, business? Are you okay? Hello? Is it like an alien ant farm song? Annie, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? He'd check on the businesses. And then we find out this guy's in India with Diego. I don't know was he checking on the Indian businesses, Diego? Is that what he was doing in India? We do know he was there in the city. Diego met with the mayor selling visa access, bragging about it on Facebook. Mario, that's why people don't like Diego. Because he's the head of Scams R Us. You want me to go to the next one? The Secretary of State blew off his budget hearing, went to India for 10 days with the guy who has an $80,000 contract that he won't tell us what he did, who was bragging about selling visa access. Oh, and a venture capitalist went with him as well. But no, if you're against Diego, according to the head of the Hamilton County GOP, it's because he's from Guatemala and has a thick accent. Playing the race card? After 4 years of Diego? That's where we're at? You're a racist? Ain't gonna work with me because my wife is Hispanic. So call me a racist. Go ahead. It really tells you how pathetic these people actually are. Instead of owning it. The correct thing to do would be like, hey, I get a lot of people have concerns about Diego. He's done a lot of this to himself. He hasn't been transparent about some key things. You could put in there if you want to still be for him, because Mario was for Diego. I assume he still is. To Mario's credit, he hasn't pulled a Banksy and pulled the endorsement. But say, hey, Diego's done some really good things. He also has some things he needs to work on. Spin it however you want, right? He should be more transparent. He shouldn't have gone to India. Maybe, even if you want to lie about it, he loves Indiana too much. He went to India and he did something that wasn't his job because he loves Indiana that much. It's pathetic. That's disgusting. I thought the other guys were supposed to be the party of you're a racist if you don't like our guy. I don't give two damns about whether Diego's from Guatemala. I care that he hired a woman as a non-citizen as his deputy chief of staff and paid her $160,000. By the way, where did Alina Cupsey go? Has anyone ever found Cupsey? How does someone just disappear? Hey, Mario, where's Cupsey? And he said all that to that guy. I assume it was with a straight face. I didn't hear any chuckling in the background. It was an audio podcast. That's the head of the Hamilton County GOP. One of the fastest growing communities, maybe it is the fastest growing county in our state. And his response to you, if you're like, hey, $90,000 for an automobile, I'm not down with that. Well, you're a racist. Hey, hiring your brother-in-law and giving him a six-figure salary when he really doesn't appear to be qualified for the job. Hey, that's not cool. Hey, you're a racist. Hey, just been to a foreign country for 10 days and refusing to say who paid for it. And your buddy who has an $80,000 contract with your office being there selling visa access in the city you met with the mayor. Hey, that's probably not cool. Hey, you're racist. Hey, using taxpayer-funded resources to film a campaign commercial, then refusing to take it down when the governing body asks you nicely. I'm probably not down with that. Yeah, you're racist. Hey, voting in a county different where you took your homestead credit, well, you're supposed to be the guy who oversees elections. That doesn't seem cool. You're racist. And I guess that's just going to be his campaign to the convention. Anyone who hates me is a racist. We never get any ownership with these people. You can't even say, yeah, that was wrong to disappear to a foreign country for 10 days. Diego really should tell everyone who paid for that trip. Diego really should give us a full itinerary of what he did there. This is the political world we're in now. It's as ridiculous as the Banks and Rokita people, their minions, their clingers on, their hangers on, trying to act like Max Engling is the sudden reincarnation of Reagan. Hey, he's a real freedom fighter. You're going to love him. Yeah, but he ran for Congress and he got like 10% of the vote. And then he just ran for delegate and his own neighbors don't like him. Yeah, but you're going to love him. Max is great. He was a model at one point. He's a beautiful human. Yeah, but his own neighbors don't even like him. Doesn't matter. He's beautiful. Don't we need more beautiful people in politics? See, that's why I really want Ballard to get on the ballot because, and I like Ballard. He's a nice guy, but he's going to, you got Bayh and Engling. If it's those two, it could be the most beautiful election in Indiana history. Ballard's going to lower the number. It will also be the tallest election in Indiana history because Engling is a giant, Bayh is a giant, and Ballard is a giant. We will have a giant as our next Secretary of State. That's pretty crazy. But this is it, guys. This is where the Diego people are at. I mean, the hypocrisy of the people who have turned on Diego is one thing. But what is there really to say for Diego? What would you say Diego did? It's like the Office Space. What would you say that you do here? If you're a Diego supporter, what would you say Diego did that you're like, thank God Diego was there? I can think of like 10 instances where I was like, oh God, Diego's there. But what would you say? Thank God Diego was there. Like, what did Diego do that you say, nobody else could have delivered that but Diego? Nobody could have delivered that but Diego. I'll wait. I watched that speech that he gave in McCordsville the other day. I didn't hear anything. I mean, I heard a lot of stuff like, I was for the redistricting. I raised the money. I closed the primaries. What does any of that have to do with my life? Like, we've taken this position because people are, they see it now as like some sort of stepping stone. That should be a simple, uneventful, administrative position. Like, you just do. The General Assembly passes laws, you administer them. It's like being a middle manager at McDonald's, right? Like, corporate has these policies. You do it that way. Here's how we do the cash register at night. Here's how we bag the money. Here's the coupons this week, Harold. Okay, thanks. Here's how they're coded in. Tell Linda who's running the cash register. Like, that's your job as a Secretary of State. You're a middle manager at McDonald's. General Assembly says do these things, you do them. Now, you have some say in the semblance of you can go give your opinion. Just like I'm sure being the middle manager at McDonald's, if you're some sort of franchisee, Daryl, the owner of the franchise, he might ask your opinion. Hey, Cindy, if we make it 2 for $1, how's that going to, affect our bottom line? But ultimately, Daryl makes the call. And we've taken this position, and now we turn it in. I fight for the redistricting. I closed the primaries. I raised the money. It's like he's Rod Tidwell and Jerry Maguire. Show me the money. This is so sad. With these guys, who's the only guy talking about the actual job of the office is David Shelton. When you watch those speeches in McCordsville, it was Shelton, it was Engling, it was Diego. The only guy. Now, Shelton's problem is he can do it great, but he always sounds like he barely has a pulse. But the only guy actually talking about his qualifications for the office, like somebody who's actually done the stuff related to the office, is Shelton. If the Republicans had come out and said, we're done with Diego, the scandals are too much, we're going to hold him accountable, we're demanding investigations, and we're endorsing Shelton, I'd be on board with it. But they've done the exact opposite. They found another guy they can control who's admitted now multiple times that he's only running because Jim Banks gave him permission in Max Engling. Why would you vote for that? If you want somebody who's going to represent you, why would you vote for that? He's already admitted on multiple occasions. The only reason he's there is because Banksy said it's okay. He wasn't going to do it until Banks said, I'm done with Diego. And now our backs are up against the wall. Hey, male model, would you run? Sure. Secretary of State sounds like fun. I mean, that's basically what he's admitted happened. People came to him. He said, I'm not going against my guy. I'm not going against my meal ticket. Banks is with Diego. Okay, that's fine. There's no problem with that. But don't tell me you're going to fight for me. Don't tell me you're going to be invested in me. Don't tell me you're going to do what's best for me. You're going to do what's best for Jim Banks. Max Engling's candidacy is about Jim Banks taking over the Republican Party. Banks has got to look at Braun and just laugh his ass off every day. He is stealing the Republican Party from the governor, and the governor's like, I'm not endorsing in this race. I'm staying out of it. I'm going to let the delegates decide. What a wimp. What a frickin' wimp. Jim Banks is stealing the Republican Party from Mike Braun, and he's like, I trust the delegates to make the correct choice. Never mind, you have one guy who's trying to steal the party from you, the other guy who's the head of corruption are us, and on neither one of them you're like, yeah, that seems like a bad idea. I'm going to let the delegates make their choice. Absolutely unbelievable. And now if you're against Diego, you are clearly a racist. By the way, hey, it's Monday. Got to plan your lunch. Got to plan your dinner for the rest of the week. That's where our guys at Double D's Barbecue in Clayton come in. They're open Wednesday through Saturday. Plenty of time to get your planning. It's a little bit of a drive on 40, but everybody who goes just can't say enough great things about the experience at Double D's Southern Barbecue in Clayton. Owners Dennis and Tina Duncan, their son Garrett, all from Memphis, so they take their barbecue super serious. It's authentic, wood-smoked, Memphis-style barbecue. By the way, Tina, she worked at Graceland, so she takes her Elvis very serious, too. That's why it's an Elvis-themed restaurant. You got 3 reasons to be there. You got the food, you got the decor, you got the service. Double D's Southern Barbecue in Clayton, right there near 40 and 39. Get the full menu, ribs, brisket, and more. DDBBQ317.com. DDBBQ317.com. All right, guys. Trump went on Meet the Press yesterday, and then Trump walked off the set of Meet the Press yesterday. This was fascinating audio. I want to get your guys' opinion on this. We'll play it for you. And plus, I'm going to talk about Trump going to the Knicks game tonight. Did you guys hear about this? About the chaos that is happening because Trump is going to the Knicks game? I want to ask you guys if the president should be able to do whatever he wants, no matter how much calamity he causes. Audience participation when we come back. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties. I would love to get to know you. I know that buying and selling a home is a really big deal. You need a plan in place so you can succeed. And that's where I come in. If you are buying, let me help you find that perfect home. And if you are selling, let me help you find that perfect buyer. Look, we're all Rob Kendall Show fans here. That's why I'd love to get to know you. I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties, an Army veteran and a Hoosier through and through. Call me at 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002 or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. It's a new day. As you've been with us, we're incorporating audio into the program for the first time, and we're going to try something in this next segment we haven't done before. What could go wrong? We're going to try to play multiple audio clips in the same segment. So we haven't screwed anything up yet. Knock on wood. We'll see if we can do it again. And it's the audio is from Trump's appearance on Meet the Press yesterday. And this was a fascinating interview. Obviously, a lot of the attention went to the fact that he walked off in the middle of the interview. Like, he took his mic off, he got mad, he walked off. We're going to play you that audio here in just a second. But there were several other things before he got mad and he walked off that I thought were very interesting and really dealing with Iran and inflation, because look, his poll numbers are a mess. And the one thing he's got going for him is nobody likes the Democrats either. He realistically could get saved. I mean, I think the Democrats are probably going to get either the House or the Senate, maybe both. But I don't think, because the margins are so small, I don't think it's going to be like a Obama type 2010 where the Republicans got 62 seats. I think I think Trump may end up getting saved, at least from some horrible midterm experience, based on the fact that the Democrats are so bad. But as it relates to Trump, the people are really pissed off. And so we're going to play you that audio here in just a bit. But before we do, a couple of reminders. If you haven't done so yet, please like our show. Please like our feed. Help us grow this program. And most of what we do is Indiana news and politics and government. Not all of it, though. Not all of it. You know, we added that third hour about a month ago. Our great friend John Rust stepped up. Third hour brought to you by John Rust, great American hero that brings you a third hour of me every day. Where would your life be without this third hour? Ask yourself, and then you can thank John Rust for that. We're going to talk about those in a little bit. So, like the show, give us a thumbs up. Really help us grow. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet, no matter what platform you're listening on. And also share the feed out. Facebook, Twitter, wherever you're listening to us from. Don't forget, we have tickets to our live show, June the 27th, Mad Hatter Comedy Club in Greenwood. And we would love for you to be there with us. We're going to have a great time. Celebrate you guys. Celebrate the growth of this program. Celebrate all that you have done to help us get the word out and be this voice of Indiana news, politics, and government that people aren't getting anywhere else. And so just head over to robkendallshow.com. We got the live ticket link up there at the top. And last but certainly not least, if you just like what we do and you're like, I just want to support you, and why wouldn't you? I just want to support Jason. He seems like an affable, pleasant person. We got a support button. RobKendallShow.com. $1, $10. If you have a rich aunt that has left you a small fortune, we'll take $10,000 too. No donation, no support too little, no support too small. Support button, RobKendallShow.com. All right, before we get to Trump and the audio, buying a home or thinking about refinancing, work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps home buyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Here's what you do. You call today, 317-695-5179. 317-695-5179. Visit loansbygary.homes. Loansbygary.homes. And you tell him your situation. What are you paying now? What's your interest rate now? What home are you in now? And then Gary says, all right, I got the info. I'm going to crunch some numbers. If he can help you, great. If he can't do better than what you got now, he'll tell you you're not out anything. You made a friend, maybe for life. Gary Tedrow, in MLS, number 179207 with Verity Mortgage. In MLS, number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender. Get more info, loansbygary.homes. All right. So Trump was on Meet the Press yesterday, and Kristen Welker, isn't that her name, the host now of Meet the Press? She starts talking with him about what's going on in California. And if you guys have not been following what's going on with California, there are all of these votes that are pouring in, and it is altering what everybody perceived as the results on election night. In the state of California, as long as your ballot is postmarked by Election Day, which is wholly ridiculous to me, as long as your ballot is postmarked by Election Day, your vote can count. So it is now going to take them at least a week. It will have taken at least a week to count these ballots. It is completely ridiculous. It is complete incompetence, and it feeds people believing that elections are rigged, that elections are stolen. It does, and rightfully so. It's pathetic that a week after election night, we're still counting ballots. And to some extent, Welker almost gives this to Trump in this interview. That if these elections are not stolen, The brazen incompetence here, the brazen ridiculousness of a system that allows votes. And by the way, the Supreme Court is hearing a case right now which could change all of this. It will not affect the outcome of this election, but the Supreme Court is hearing a case right now, set to rule in a case about whether you can be counting votes like this long after Election Day. Look, you know when Election Day is. If you want to absentee vote, that's one thing. You know when you got to mail the ballot out by. If it doesn't come in by Election Day, sorry about you. Go in person. Go in person. I have voted by mail once before, and I was very cognizant of sending that ballot in weeks ahead of time because of that. It's ridiculous. And so what has happened in California is there are two races everyone's watching. The race for governor and the race for mayor. Now, I touched on this last week, just a reminder. California has what they call a jungle primary. Jungle primary, in which everybody runs at the same time, regardless of party, and only the top two vote getters get to go into the general election. Could be two Democrats, often is. We're about to talk about that. A lot of times it's a Democrat and Republican. Sometimes it's a Democrat and an independent, whatever. The Republicans have a hard time being pissed off about this, though, because Schwarzenegger put this system into effect. Schwarzenegger was a Republican governor who put this system into effect. Now, in both cases, the race for governor and the mayor of Los Angeles, the Republican was either winning or very close to the first place person and was easily in second place, which means they should be advancing by all normal standards to the fall election. However, over the past week, the Democrat who is in third place has gained ground steadily. Tom Steyer in the governor's race, a Democrat. Becerra, the Democrat, has already won, been declared the winner, and now it is down to Steve Hilton, the Republican, and Steyer, the Democrat. Hilton was way ahead of Steyer. Steyer has gained huge ground over the last several days, and a lot of people believe he may end up passing Hilton. Don't know for sure. In Los Angeles, the mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass is the incumbent. She's been declared the winner, the Democrat. Spencer Pratt is a Republican. He's a reality TV star. And he was easily in second place to the point where the woman in third, a Democrat councilwoman, who is now the new golden girl, and I'll get to that in a second, she was basically gave a tearful concession speech. I and many others perceived it as a concession speech on election night, and now she's past Spencer Pratt. She was so far behind even she thought she lost. And now somehow she has passed Spencer Pratt, and she is likely going to win, and it'll be two Democrats running in the fall. It is ridiculous that this system is allowed to be in place. Hey, if more people vote for the Democrats, fine, whatever. But this thing where this and it never happens in favor of the Republicans. You notice this? In all of these states, this is why people were pissed off in 2020. Because in every state, all the absentee ballots in all the swing states just happen to favor the Democrat, and all happening at the same time. Get out of here. Years ago, you guys remember, some of you remember, longtime fans, listeners, viewers, remember I used to do the Ben Stein Show podcast. And Ben Stein, of course, famous actor, was a part of the Nixon administration, economist. I mean, his real thing that got him noticed years and years ago was he was a known economist. And Ben Stein said on his podcast, he went to bed on election night, and he said what happened from a just sheer economics perspective, an economist perspective, it was statistically impossible for what happened on election night in 2020 to happen. He's like, I went to bed. It's over. Not because I wanted Trump to win. Ben Stein was not a big Trump fan. You guys remember in the beginning, he was very critical of Trump. But he said it was statistically impossible for what happened to happen. And this feeds it, right? It keeps happening. So Trump gets into it with Kristen Welker on Meet the Press about this. We'll go ahead and play you the audio. It's a little longer than we normally play, but I was fascinated. I was captivated by all of it. I was like, where do I even cut this? So let's take a listen.
It was a dirty election,
Mr.
and it's
President,
happening again right now in Texas. The
presented
election
in a
was
court of
rigged.
law.
It was a dirty election,
Mr.
and it's
President,
happening again right now in
never
California.
presented evidence
It's happening
that the
right
2020
now in
election
California.
was rigged.
Right now, it's look at what's
Where's
happening
the
in
evidence
California.
to that?
It's
The
4
Republicans
days.
are doing well in
California. It's no, they're not. They're dropping fast because it's a rigged election. Let me tell you, it's 4 days. And they aren't even close to coming up with it.
That's how they count
You know
the
why
votes
they're
in
doing that?
California.
Because they're cheating on the election.
Do you have evidence to support
all
that?
I have to do is look. All I have to do is look.
That's not
And I
evidence.
listen. And I listen to people. and let's see what happens.
But, sir, that's not evidence.
You think it's appropriate?
That's how they count the votes in California.
You think it's appropriate that they have an election and 5 days later they're nowhere close to picking a winner?
State and local officials acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging the votes to be counted quickly. That's how they vote in
crooked,
California.
just like you're crooked. Your press is crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked.
To be fair, I'm not crooked, but let's
Really?
Let's
Well,
continue.
you play right into their hands.
Let's continue.
You're either crooked or you're stupid. You play
continue.
right into their hands with this rap. You know that these elections are rigged. Your network knows that they're rigged. You know that I won an election in a landslide, and I got 94% bad press.
But, Mr. President,
you know why I
you've
got
never
that?
presented
Because you have no
evidence.
credibility.
But you've never presented evidence that it was rigged. Let's keep talking about. I want to talk about Todd.
You have more evidence. There's more evidence than ever presented.
Let's talk
Your
about
elections
You
in
went
this
to
country.
court.
We're like a third world country.
But, sir-
Your elections are crooked, and you're crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked,
Mr.
and so
President-
is ABC and CBS and CNN.
But, Mr. President-
You're one-sided crooked networks. All right, let's call it quits because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time.
Mr. President, let's please. I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
I've sat in the
traveled
rain.
I know. I
I've sat in
traveled
the rain
all the
with
way
you
to
for an hour,
Wisconsin.
on and off in the rain, and I've given you enough time. You ought to straighten out your press because you know what?
Mr.
A
President,
country can never be
We
great
traveled
with a dishonest.
Listen, we
Come on,
traveled all the way to Wisconsin for this interview.
Okay, so where are we with that? Because I go back and forth on it. Every so often, like Trump has gotten kind of boring to me, but then I'll see something like that and go, okay, that was super interesting. Was that what he was trying to do? Because I think, like, and we're going to play for you some of the other clips here in a moment, but I think he was I think he had talked about pretty much everything he wanted to talk about. So he was just kind of like, I'm done. He also was mad because I think it was Iowa they were in, and they did it like in the outdoor setting. You could hear the rain in the background, and that was pissing him off, that it was like raining while he was doing the interview. And so where are you guys at with that? I mean, he walks off, right? I don't think she asked him anything inappropriate. Like, I went back and listened to that a couple times. I think it's a valid question. Hey, you're saying fraud. Can you show us definitively where the fraud's happening? Now, I've tried to get a better feel, because I knew we were going to discuss this today, about what's going on, like, in Los Angeles. Look, this whole system is broken. The whole system's broken to the point where California has very little, if any, safeguards on who's actually voting, or confirming who's casting the ballot. The lack of voter ID is bad. The idea that you can count a ballot, 7-8 days after an election, that's ridiculous. That system is designed, set up so that bad stuff could happen. But one of the things that was interesting, I've got down the like Twitter rabbit hole of watching people who are actual voters in Los Angeles and in California. And some of them are, bitching about the system, obviously, and then some of them are talking about like why things happen the way they do. And one of the things one of the people who's a conservative commentator out there, I forget the guy's name, but he was talking about the system. He said, look, I'm not saying the system's good. I hate the system. He's saying, here's how the system works. And he was saying that a lot of people didn't want Bass as the mayor. They don't. Karen Bass, who's a former member of Congress, now the mayor of Los Angeles, they don't like her. They don't like her. They don't like Newsom. They didn't want Bass. Now, logically, you would say the Democrats as a party are a dumpster fire. You keep voting for these people. It's the same thing going on with Chicago. It's the same thing going on with Illinois. Not to say, you guys know I'm the last person to like cheerlead for the Republicans or defend the Republicans, but these people just decide we're going to keep voting for the same party that gives us the same thing. And they don't want Bass. They know they don't have to vote until literally Election Day. You can mail your ballot in. And so these people are essentially, I don't know if gaming the system is right or taking advantage of the system, but all of these late voters voted for this woman. She's a member of the city council there in Los Angeles, and she's now going to be the one to take on Karen Bass in the general election if the vote holds, and it looks like it is, that Pratt's going down. Now, there are some of these, the question was like, how could you do that well on election night and then do that bad on the mail-in ballots? I think that's what has people concerned. Pratt was at 20-some%. He's getting like none in some of these ballot drops. And people are like, statistically, that doesn't make sense to me. And so this comes back to, whether or not it's appropriate for Trump to walk out or not, I don't think it is, right? You've done the interview. We're going to play you some more of these clips. She's going to be tough. She's going to push back on you. You know that when you do the interview. It's Meet the Press. It's not like you would be surprised. I don't think she asked him anything inappropriate during that back and forth. I think it's a bad look when you walk out. Now, of course, people are talking about social media. We're playing it. Would we have played the stuff if he hadn't walked out? I don't know. Maybe that's what he's trying to do. I don't know if that helps you or not. But it comes back to the SAVE Act, right? Look at this horrible system in California. Whether shenanigans are taking place or not, the perception is that there is. Because they don't have voter ID. They have this bizarro thing which the Supreme Court may put a stop to, where you can vote and your ballot can be counted a week after the election. It's ridiculous. How could you possibly have any faith, regardless of what party you are, regardless of what ideology you have, that this election is on the up and up? Maybe it is. But there's no way any reasonable person would have faith in the system when 8 days, 9 days, 10 days later, ballots are still being counted. None. Zero. You want to vote, it gets counted. You get it there by Election Day. If you have the faith in the post office to get it there, you do it on Election Day. And I think people have just had enough of this because it seems to keep happening, and it always seems to work against the Republicans. It'd be one thing if it was like, well, the Democrats really got screwed on it this time. But it's not. The Democrats always seem to win because of this. And people have said kind of, hey, I think enough is enough. All right. There was more in this interview. Trump got asked about Iran. And I got to say, I thought the answer was pretty weak. He did not seem very authoritative when he got asked about Iran and what's going on with Iran and why the delays are with Iran. Take a listen to this.
Why haven't they made a deal with you yet?
Because it's a very hard thing for them. They've had great independence. They've dealt with very weak and ineffective leadership on behalf of the United States and other countries, frankly, that allowed them to get away with murder. And I think they can't believe they're in the situation where they've been virtually decapitated.
But if they're so desperate, Mr. President, why haven't they said yes to the terms you're proposing?
Strong. They're proud. There are things they never thought they'd be doing that they're going to have to do. They've got no choice. And it takes a little while. You know, you're talking about 47 years of getting away with whatever they wanted. I mean, this should have been done long ago. This should have been done by other presidents or other countries. It doesn't have to be us, other countries. But they were very close to having a nuclear weapon twice. That was when I terminated the Iran nuclear deal, which was a path. That deal, the JCPOA, that deal was tantamount to giving them a nuclear weapon. It was a horrible deal given by Barack Obama and really penned by him. It was a horrible deal. It was, it expired long ago. I terminated it. But had I not terminated it, it expired long ago. It was a short-term deal. It was a road to a nuclear weapon. They would have had a nuclear weapon 5 years ago.
What do you guys think about that? He didn't sound very assertive. He didn't sound very confident. The thing about it basically almost sounded like he was excusing why Iran has not cut the deal. By the way, what do you guys think of the audio? Do you guys like the audio? Obviously, everything we try to do here is for you guys. We thought it'd be a nice little mix-up, nice little switch-up, nice little opportunity to expand on what we're doing here. Do you guys like the audio? Let us know in the YouTube chat, because everything we're doing here is for you guys. I think it sounds great. I like it. We've kind of got a system down that seems to, knock on wood, work so far. What do you guys think? Do you like it? Do you want the audio to keep going? I mean, do you want to just listen to me babble for 3 hours? What do you guys want? Let us know in the YouTube chat. I think Trump is really stuck on Iran. I think it's much more difficult, as every venture has ever been with this country in the Middle East, far more difficult than he thought. I think he thought the people of Iran were going to rise up. I don't know how he thought that because they don't have guns. I think he thought the Iranian government was going to cave. I don't know why he thought that because they're complete lunatic ideologues. So I don't know why he thought they would just give in. And I think he thought that, like, other people were going to help with this. And I don't know why he thought that because nobody else ever helps with this. It's like, how could you not look at history and recognize this is what always happens? You're dealing with a bunch of nutbags who are ideologically driven. They're not going to just give up. You're dealing with a part of the world where nobody else ever helps out. See Iraq, see Afghanistan. And it just seems like he misplayed everything, and now he's stuck, which comes back to this is where it's at, man. Either turn him into a parking lot or just go home. I mean, this makes no sense to me right now to be in this months-long holding pattern where we keep having to pay more for stuff and you're not punishing them. Either do it or don't. Opening segment of our show 14 weeks ago. What did I tell you guys? I said there's two options. And there's pros and cons to each one. I can see the pros and cons of each one. But he is like in this middle ground now where he seems very stuck and he seems very agitated, and they're not buying your threats, man. You either got to do it or don't. Okay, one other clip. He got asked about inflation in this interview, he being Trump. Got asked about inflation, and he is very upset about the Fed potentially raising interest rates or not cutting interest rates. He is still on this. And I think this is super interesting that he is still totally trying to basically bully or intimidate the Fed into helping him cook this economy. Take a listen.
After this month's jobs report, economists now say it's possible the Fed may have to raise rates. Do you think that's possible? And what would your reaction be, sir?
That's the inflation one.
I'm of a different feeling. I think Kevin's fantastic, and I want him to do whatever he wants. I don't want to have a big influence on him. But we had a great report. We're doing great. And it's unfair that whenever you do great, they want to raise interest rates. It should be the opposite way. You know, if you go back 15 or 20 years, when you had good reports, the market went up. Nowadays, when you have good reports, the market goes down because they think they're going to raise interest rates. There's no reason to raise interest rates. The country becomes great. We built the country by doing great and having rates low. What they do is when they raise interest rates, they try and kill success. I don't want to kill success. We should actually lower interest rates. Now, if inflation comes, and you know, people live with inflation, but if inflation comes, what happens is you stamp it out. But success can kill inflation, just like higher interest rates. What they do now is, like, we had great job numbers. You agree, right?
They beat expectations.
Not expectations, like 3 times. Okay, but you ready? What do? They say, oh, let's raise interest rates. It's the wrong thing to do. I would like to see rates get lower because we could build this into the greatest machine that the world has ever seen. But you can't do that when everybody immediately raises interest rates. So we had great job numbers. We're doing great. You know, we're building more factories. We have more money coming into our country right now from other countries and people than ever before. Wait a minute. What happens? I don't want to just kill it with high interest rates. Growth is the greatest thing you can have. And growth does not... The inflation
conversation to me is a fascinating one with Trump because they never address the issue, which is spending. The spending is the issue. The printing of the money is the issue. And yet he keeps coming back to, well, the cutting of the interest rates and the this and the that. What Trump, and without doing an economics seminar here, what Trump is trying to do, because it's an election year, is he's trying to cook the economy. And he's trying to artificially cook the economy through lowering of interest rates. Interest rates get lowered, money's cheaper, people are more apt to borrow money, right? Because then it's easier to make money off the money you've borrowed. It's not rocket science. But the job of the Federal Reserve, the actual job, the thing they're supposed to do, is to balance inflation and unemployment, right? Find a balancing act between inflation and employment. And employment is good enough right now, and the Fed has got serious concerns about spending to say, hey, we got to raise interest rates, which is the right thing to do. Interest rates are way too low. They have been for a long time. The politicians want lower interest rates because it makes the economy better. It artificially inflates the economy. And so much now of our economy is tied into government spending, which is not good. Again, it comes back to really stuck. And Trump knows that inflation is the issue. But inflation is not going to get better until you stop spending the money. And they're not going to stop spending the money because it's now such a part of the economy. It's such a built-in part of the economy. He's not going to be able to get out of it. Look, he's stuck in this. And he being Trump, he may get lucky. Lady Luck has always been an amazing part of Donald Trump's life, unlike any person I've ever seen. Donald Trump's ability to make chicken salad out of chicken you-know-what is unlike any person. I'm not even just talking politician or president. He has, throughout his entire life, done his best work with his back up against the corner, back up against the wall, backed into a corner. And so I don't rule anything out. I can look at historical data. I can look at the polling. I don't rule anything out in terms of Trump being able to avert complete disaster this fall. I don't. But the big issue, and he has horrible marks on it, is inflation, is the cost of everything. And so it'll be fascinating with the Democrats without any sort of plan to address it. Like, look, it's not 1994. It's not the contract with America on the opposition. Or, hey, people hate Clinton and the Republicans. They got their act together. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking a party with no plan, who was a complete dumpster fire not all that long ago when they ran. Can they overcome that because Trump is so unpopular? Who's the least popular is what this election is actually going to be about. Somebody who is popular, our friend, Lauren Wilson. Lauren's a realtor with At Properties, and she is a Hoosier lifer and a military vet, and she would love to get to know all about you. That's what the home buying and selling experience should be about. Getting to know your realtor, invest with your realtor, work together with your realtor. And that's what Lauren Wilson wants to do. She wants to sit down. She wants to put a plan together. Even if you're not sold on right now, I got to sell my house. Get the plan in place. Find out what your home might be worth. Find out what your home might sell for. Lauren Wilson, realtor with At Properties. 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Lauren's local. She's dedicated. She wants to be your advocate. She wants to get to work for you. All right, we're nearing the third hour, guys, and we've still got a whole bunch of stuff to get to in the third hour, brought to you by John Rust. Of course, we've got Jason to be with us. He's going to have the best YouTube comments of the day. The best YouTube comments of the day. Again, just a reminder, in order to participate in our YouTube chat, all you got to do, subscribe to the channel. And then Jason monitors throughout the course of our program. At the end of the day, we make you the star, because that's what this show is all about. It's all about you, our fabulous, dedicated, unwavering audience. And one of the ways we do that is we read your comments. It sparks comments back from me. It's brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. We're also going to get into some more of the Bears Stadium stuff. Look, there are so many tentacles. There are so many layers to the Bears Stadium stuff. And I'm going to ask you guys about presidential etiquette, because Trump is going to the Knicks game tonight. And it's causing all sorts of chaos in the city of New York. I'm going to ask you guys if it's fair for a president, whenever he wants to go somewhere, to just totally shut down society. Like, I'm not talking about like some official government action. He's like, I want to go to the ball game. And it's causing big havoc in New York. I'll ask you guys about all that and more when we come back. Hour of content ahead. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
If authentic wood-smoked barbecue is your thing, Double D's Barbecue in Clayton is the place for you. Owners Dennis and Tina Duncan, along with their son Garrett, are from Memphis. So when it comes to barbecue, they're not screwing around. No pellet smokers, no roasters, just authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. All of Double D's food is cooked fresh daily, and it's all made from scratch. Double D's Barbecue, located at 40 and 39 in Clayton, is open all day, Wednesday through Saturday, but get there early because once they're sold out, they're done. Check out the full menu, ribs, brisket, and more at ddbbq317.com.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
With a lakefront view in beautiful Brazil, the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage is a little out of the way, but totally worth the trip. Down home, made from scratch food, just like the good old days at Grandma's. When you visit the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage, you'll leave more at peace than when you came in. Open 5 to 8 for dinner on Friday and Saturday, and Sundays 11 to 1:30 for the buffet. You must experience the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage. Call 812-443-3003. 812-443-3003.
Your bathroom fan could be secretly costing you thousands of dollars in damages. Most people don't even know this until the damage is done. With over 18 years of bathroom remodeling experience, here are 3 signs your fan is failing you without spending a dime on inspections. Sign number 1 is if you have foggy mirrors after you shower. This shows that your fan isn't pulling out enough moisture, which creates the perfect environment for mold. If you have a properly functioning bathroom fan that is the right size for your space, you shouldn't see much fogginess on your bathroom mirror at all. Sign number 2 is if you have bubbling, cracking, or peeling paint in your bathroom. This means moisture is soaking into your walls, slowly breaking down drywall, and even causing the wood framing behind it to rot. Sign number 3 is if you have mold buildup on your fan, ceilings, or walls. This is terrible for your health, but also could wreck your bathroom, costing you a fortune. If you're noticing any of these signs, here's what you can do.
Call Vent Savvy today at 317-300-4434. That's 317-300-4434, and mention Rob for a free attic inspection. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Rob Kendall Show, hour 3, commercial free, as we say in the biz. Thanks to our guy, John Rust. We got a big hour ahead for you guys. Coming up in a little bit. You're the Star. Jason will join us, producer Jason, with the best YouTube comments of the day, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. Now, I want to ask you guys a little etiquette question here about the President of the United States. But first, before we get into this, because Trump's going to the Knicks game 3 of the NBA Finals, and I go back and forth on this, and I'll be curious what you guys have to say about it. But first, hey, you guys got a masonry color mismatch? Previous repair catching your eye? Not happy with the brick color on your home and ready for a total makeover? Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants offer specialized masonry staining and recoloring, whether you want to seamlessly blend repairs or completely transform your home's exterior. You want to build something new? Bramwell Mackay's 40-year master masons design and construct custom patios, sidewalks, outdoor summer kitchens, archways, entryways, and more. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, beauty built to endure, BramwellMackay.com. Hey, by the way, how'd your guys' day start off today? You want to know how mine started off? Started off about 5:20. And I'm laying there getting ready. I set the alarm early because I had to get some stuff ready for the show. I'm laying there doing the thing. You guys do this where, like, you wake up, you set your alarm, like, I'm just not ready to get up yet, but I can't go back to sleep. So I'm just going to lay here and justify myself laying here. And I'm laying there, and all of a sudden I hear this little rap, rap, rap. My daughter's bedroom is right next to our bedroom. And I hear this little rap, rap, rap. I think, oh, great, Libby's up. And she is at the age now where she can get out of her crib and bed, and we're having to make some changes to that here pretty soon. And she says she's out. Okay, go get her. Walk out of the room, walk into the hallway, go to open the door. Nothing. Won't turn. But wait a second. We got those little baby locks on them, right? So that she can't get in. But obviously she's on the other side of the door. It's like, all right, what am I doing wrong here? You just woke up, so you're a little discombobulated, right? Let's try again. Door's locked. Realize she's locked herself from the inside in her room. Thinking, oh, crap. Luckily, my wife is like a MacGyver. She's figured out with a fork, when you bend a fork, she can pick the lock on that door. So I spent the first 10 minutes of my day, and I hear Olivia on this side, because you don't want your kid freaking out, right? She's locked herself in the room. I can tell her, can you unlock the door? But she's probably not capable of understanding that yet, because she probably doesn't know what she did. And I hear her on the other door, say, hey, it'll be fine. We'll be right in. No problem. And then open the door. She's standing there, and she goes, sorry. So I've been at it since 5:20 this morning. How's your guys' day going? Going well, right? Hey, oh crap, we forgot to show the shirts. C-Mills, our guy C-Mills got us the shirts. Yeah, we'll get it here in a minute. The Rob Kendall Show shirts, awesome. It was awesome to meet C-Mills over the weekend. So many great supporters that we have met thanks to this program, and these shirts are great, man. I can't wait to wear them out and about in the. Oh, here comes Jason. Get ready, Bal. Yeah. Don't trip over anything. Thank you. Put these. If you're listening to us on the Apple or Spotify, like, what the hell is this guy doing? I'm getting ready to show everyone the shirts. Can you see them? Does it work? Oh yeah, boom. There it is.
Mom needs to iron.
Yeah. Gonna have to iron that, but that's all right. C-Mills, I'm not too picky, right? Anyway, so we'll be wearing those out and about. All right, so let's talk about Trump for a second. Donald Trump is a longtime Knicks fan, which makes sense. He's from New York. Like, Trump has been going to the Knicks games for generations. And for years and years, decades, he's been there. It was always a big deal when Trump would be there. There's all sorts of video of him being there. So it's not like he's some sort of like Johnny-come-lately fan. He's a lifelong Knicks fan. And it came out that Trump had decided, because the Knicks are in the NBA Finals, and the Knicks are playing the San Antonio Spurs. The Knicks have not won an NBA championship since 1973. They have not been to the NBA Finals since 1999. Phantom foul cost the Pacers that year. You remember that? That phantom foul on Larry Johnson? That was a total, that ref should have been investigated. That guy wasn't anywhere near Larry Johnson when they called that phantom foul on the 4-point play. Beat the Pacers in the NBA Finals that year, or the conference finals. But so it's a big deal that the Knicks are back in the finals. Obviously, it's, the economic capital of the world, right? So it's a big deal. All celebrities going. And so the Knicks won the first 2 games in San Antonio. So there's a lot of buzz. Hey, the Knicks might be able to actually do this. They may actually be able to win the first time since 1973, 53 years. So Trump says, well, hey, I'm a lifelong Knicks fan. I went to all those games and they weren't very good. I used to go sit and watch Ewing and those guys. I'm going to the game. Well, obviously, it's one thing to go to a game when you're a celebrity. It's another thing to go to a game when you're the President of the United States of America. And this has caused massive havoc because New York is one giant traffic block anyway, one giant traffic jam anyway. And now, because of Trump choosing to attend this game, which, how do you think that's going to go over Trump in New York City at Madison Square Garden? Oh my gosh, he's going to get booed out of the building. But because of this, there have been all sorts of changes that have had to be made by the city of New York. And one of the things that New York has been doing that is pretty popular is they have what they call watch parties outside of Madison Square Garden, where they shut the streets down, they put up big TVs, people can come, you go. It's like New Year's Eve, right? Basically, but people go watch the Knicks games. And the city of New York has canceled these watch parties, which is outraging people. The city said, quote, "There will be no watch parties outside of Madison Square Garden for Game 3 only." They were very specific. Like, hey, Trump's going to Game 3. It's Game 3 only. We want you to know this is Trump's fault. This was done fully in coordination with the Secret Service because of the presidential visit. We expect watch parties at Madison Square Garden to resume for Game 4. So they are laying it on thick, right? They're like, hey, New York City resident, we want you to know you don't get your watch party because of Trump. The Madison Square Garden people, James Dolan, who owns Madison Square Garden and the Knicks, he was very quick to come and go, hey, don't blame us. This had nothing to do with us. We didn't cancel it. Quote, "The permit for Plaza 33 Game 3 watch party was denied by the city's permitting office in consultation with the NYPD. However, the White House will confirm that this is not about the president. We understand NYPD Commissioner Tisch is planning additional street closures around Madison Square Garden." Now, I think Dolan is a Trump guy. And so Dolan was like, I'll fall on the sword, but I want everybody to know it wasn't me and it wasn't Trump. It's the city. You blame those bastards over there. Blame Mamdani. We would have had the watch party. So my question to you guys is this, because I have read a whole bunch about this. I thought the takes have been fascinating on it. Can should and can, okay? Should and can are two different things. Trump obviously can go to what he wants to, whenever he wants to go. But should he? Like, now as the president of the United States, you are going to cause a massive disruption. Anywhere you go is going to shut down everything. And I get it. You're a massive Knicks fan. I get it. You went to all the games when they weren't very good. I get it. You used to pal around with Ewing and Oakley and all those guys. Starks, I get it. And New York's really is your home, right? I understand all of that. And you want to cheer the team. And you want to be there because you were there when times were tough. But you're going to ruin it for everyone else. Like, it's going to take hours for people to get into Madison Square Garden now. You're gonna deny people the ability to have these watch parties that go to all the games and attend all the games and want to be there for the team, and you're taking that away from them. And it's not like you can't watch the game. It's not like you can't. The White House doesn't have ABC. Probably have a really nice projector there you can watch the game on. Should you, as President of the United States, when there's not some national interest, right? The nation doesn't depend on you going. You're going for your own self-enjoyment. It's not even remember, wasn't Trump going to go to the national championship football game? Wasn't Trump going to go to the Indy 500 one year and they put the kibosh on that? Should you do that? Should you put your own personal interest aside? Should you be willing to say, look, I want to do this, but it's going to disrupt thousands and thousands of people, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people. I'm going to disrupt by going to this game. Maybe I'll just watch it at home. What do you think about Trump doing this? Are you guys cool with this? Because you know me, I'm the cheapest, most frugal man alive. I look at it as, hey, you probably ought to just stay home. How much is this going to cost the taxpayers for you to go to this game? I would not do it. What do you guys think? What do you think about Trump going? Would you guys go if you were president? Would you just go do what you wanted to do? Or would you be like, okay, yeah, that's really going to disrupt everybody else's existence. I'll just stay in my nice home. The White House is pretty nice. Oh, and Trump has the Mar-a-Lago. Either place, pretty cool. Probably much better than the home any of us are living in. What do you guys think? What would you do? Let us know in the YouTube chat. Producer Jason will read the comments here in just a little bit. Before we get to the YouTube chat, though, I want to come back to the Bears. I know we touched on it a couple times today. This is super important. Because at the end of all of this, once we cut past, the NFL is coming to Hammond. It's the Chicago Bears, the groundbreaking, the ribbon cuttings, the dirt shovelings, the politicians that get to go to the games and sit in the suites. When it's all said and done, we're talking about funding, remove that it's the NFL. We're talking about funding a multi-billion-dollar business with billions of dollars of tax increases on poor and middle-class people. That's what this is all about. And I find it fascinating that our Republican politicians are proud of it. Our Republican politicians are excited that they're going to take billions of dollars through toll taxes, roads, food and beverage taxes from people who have already lived there and lived there for years, and hotel taxes. All of this is being funded through taxes. It's not like the Bears are paying a portion of it. But at the end of the day, the Bears aren't going to pay any property tax on that stadium. The Bears are going to make $1 gajillion and not pay property tax. And for what? How does that benefit? Look, and Chuck Pullen laid this out. If you missed the interview, go back and watch it. Chuck Pullen from WJOB. How many times have we heard the next new thing's going to save the region? The casino, the rail line, all the stuff that Chuck laid out. And he's a region guy. You don't have to take my word for it. It never solves the problem. And so, like, all these concerts and this, what are we going to believe is going to happen? Let's just use Taylor Swift or the Rolling Stones or whoever, right? Are you going to do both, a stadium show in Indianapolis and then a stadium show in Hammond? That's typically not how that works. Jason will back me up on this when he comes on and joins us here in just a minute. No, not yet. You typically don't do back-to-backs if you're doing stadium shows. Now, it's one thing if you're doing arena shows, like, hey, I'm just picking I'm picking a band, right? It's Beyonce, and she's doing Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and then she's going up and doing the United Center. Is it still called the United Center? In Chicago. You'll do that. But if you're doing stadiums, if you're U2, you're not back-to-back stadiums because stadiums draw from all over the place. That's why they do them. It's economies of scale. Hey, we're doing 3 shows in Indianapolis. We'll get the Chicago people, and we'll get the Cincinnati people, and we'll obviously get the Indianapolis people, and we'll get the Louisville people, and we may even get the Iowa people, right? You're drawing maybe Cleveland. The stadium shows are economies of scale. We can get 65,000 people in this football stadium versus 25,000 or 20,000 in a basketball stadium. You're not doing back-to-back. Now, maybe Taylor Swift could, but for the most part, that's why they do this. So are you going to now say we're going to pass up Indianapolis? And what does that do to the Indianapolis economy? Hey, we're going to the new Bears stadium in Hammond because we can draw Chicago. Are we now harming the investment that we've made in Lucas Oil Stadium? We're talking about creating a special taxing district because they have such a massive debt to pay off where all the taxes, the income tax, the property tax, the sales tax, it's all going to stay in this one little area. So when does, other than, hey, now there's a bunch of stuff to do in the region, what the hell does that do for me? I don't give 2 damns about the region. I don't live up there. Seem like nice enough people, become friends with Chuck over the years, but why should I pay more in taxes, which I will if my tax dollars that are supposed to be being generated from the I-80 toll and are supposed to go to the roads are going to the Bears? I'll pay more in taxes. I'm paying more. I already pay for Lucas Oil Stadium. Now I'm going to pay for Hammond. And our Republican elected officials are ecstatic that they're going to take money from poor and middle-class people and give it to billionaires. Is that what you want? Is that good use of tax money? Is that good use of resources? Raise taxes on people and take money that's supposed to go to our stuff and give it to the Bears. I'm not down with that, and I'm a massive Bears fan. I hope Illinois gets their act together. I thought Chuck's comments were interesting. He knows the players. He knows the game. He thinks it's a long way from being over. I love that Chuck was like, because I asked him, I was like, well, how are they going to save face on that? They've already got the governor and the senators doing a happy dance. He's like, that's the region. That's how they work up there. These politicians don't know region speak. And he was just like, they'll just do it. If the Bears get a better offer from Illinois, they'll go there. They don't care. So remember, through all of this, when we do these ecstatic happy dances about the bright, shiny objects that are going to be built, they're being built with taxes. They're being built with tax increases. They're being built with maneuvering tax increases away from the general populace and to a specific project, the Bears Stadium. You are going to pay for it. You're going to pay for it either through tax increases or projects not getting done or both. Everybody better wake up about how much this Bears Stadium actually going to cost. And speaking of waking up, it is time for us to wake up, producer Jason, as he reads today the best YouTube comments that you've put forth over the last 2.5 hours.
Is it my turn?
Brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing.
Awesome. Am I there? There we go. All right. How we doing, Rob?
Great. Did you remember to turn the mixer volume down for the audio?
I do my job.
Yes, very good.
Not a board op. I'm a producer.
That's right.
Executive producer. There we go. Am I on? Check 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right. This chat brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. Black Sheep Plumbing can do the job right at a fraction of the cost of the big guys. And Black Sheep Plumbing says thank you to all military, firefighters, and police officers with an American Heroes discount. Owner John McKinney is a Hoosier lifer, takes pride, stands behind his work, and that's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Give John a call, 765-315-7558, 765-315-7558, Black Sheep Plumbing.
All right.
There we go. By the way, still need a few more people to go to producer Jason on the Facebook platform.
Help him out.
Help me out. I got to get to 100 people so I don't look like such a loser.
Yeah, no.
You know, when you promote things and it's like the dude's got 56 followers, how important can he be?
That's right.
You know, so
help him out.
So we need to make me look good.
He is a treasure to humanity. He's not going to like spam you with stuff. Even if you don't want to follow him.
No
just give him a
spam,
like.
just
Give him a
maybe
like.
some of my photos and, you know, bragging about me and things.
Well, I mean, like,
but no spam.
You put the photos up of you went out to
that is correct.
To Shelbyville.
Went to Shelbyville on Friday, had a great time, talked with a good handful of people that were out there about the data center. And
I'm excited to hear that.
Yeah, couldn't find anybody that was for it. And we went up to the mayor's office.
Oh.
And he was not in.
Oh.
But there was a sign on the door with a phone number, like Diego.
Oh, yeah.
So I called, got me on video calling and left a voicemail, and he has not called me back.
Oh,
I told him
darn.
we'd be polite and
Constituent
kind.
services lacking
Yeah,
there
he
from the
didn't.
Shelbyville
I tried to
mayor's
get hold of the council, somebody on the city council, and so far no response. But we did get a lot of response from the anti data
Wednesday,
center
we
folks.
think.
I
Hopefully.
think by Wednesday I should have this put together. If it was only audio for radio, it'd have been done today. But you know, we do the video thing here.
Video
so,
casting here.
That is correct. So it takes a little bit longer. Had to go back Saturday, get B-roll. You know, you got to have B-roll.
That's right.
So got to look professional. So we did that. So the fine folks in Shelbyville, thank you so much for your hospitality. Connie Lindsay.
Yep.
On top of it. All right. So we get started in the chat yesterday. Okay, so next weekend, we're putting the chat up like 6 o'clock Friday.
Okay.
Right? I waited till about, I think, Sunday around 6 or so.
Yeah.
And I think we need to beef this up.
So
people are starting to find it.
We have a lot of new viewers. So for those of you who are new, we have a fabulous YouTube chat community. All you have to do to be a part of it is subscribe to our channel. And they've started their own little pre-gaming where Jason will post the live feed up on the night before, and a lot of our chatters get together, and they just have fun conversations there.
They do. And it started with Jan Hatch. Happy Sunday. Okay. We got a ton of chats in here today. Rock Laws, happy Sunday, Jan Hatch. It goes on like that. MLM Warriors, noon, Sunday. So I guess I did put it up early. It must have been Saturday night that I put it up. No, it was Saturday night because there was another person, and remind me who you were. No, when I see it, somebody else was in there on Saturday, and I think it just like deleted 2 or 3 of those and started over on Sunday. I still have not figured out the algorithm on YouTube or how this works, but we're working on it. Spray Jockey, way to go, Jan. You're number 1. All right. Kevin Branham, I can't wait for the best show to start in 11 hours and 30 minutes. Who's your 2025?
They're like these guys. Remember, like when the tickets would go on sale, like outside of Karma, that would like hang out outside the Karma for the tent.
Oh, we used to have to do that.
Yeah, the tent. They
like
the tent.
Van Halen and all that. We would go the night before, and you go down. We used to go to the Karma Records on Washington Street, Washington and Post, and you'd line up around, and you'd bring your blankets or whatever, and you'd wait, and then the next morning, you'd somebody would make the breakfast run or whatever, and you had to stay in line, keep your place in line, and buy your ticket, and that was the fun days.
Yeah,
you had to work for your ticket.
Yeah.
All right. You didn't get to sit on a computer and be lazy and do it that way.
No, you earned it. The real fans got the real seats.
The real fans got the real seats.
Yeah.
Who's your 2025? Look forward to another week of the greatest news with Rob and producer Jason.
Thank you.
McLovins, 12 hours and 45 minutes until producer Jason enlightens us. Let the enlightening begin. All right. MLM Warrior, 10 likes by 4 a.m.
Hey, that's awesome.
The old man, happy Monday, everyone. We made it to Monday in the chat. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. Do you know where your favorite producer and podcast host are? Rob wasn't in bed. I was still in bed.
6 a.m. I was trying to get that fork into that lock to get the door open.
The old man 68 added, "Your weekend chatters are crazy, but in a good way. I'm sure Rob and producer Jason appreciate seeing everyone in the chat group so early.
We love you guys.
We love you guys.
Yep.
Spray Jockey, weekend chatters, only a half dozen showed up, maybe next week. That's right, on the Sunday, but nobody knew. So I think we'll announce it, but I think next week we'll do it like 6 o'clock Friday and just see how many chats we can get by Monday. All right. So you guys could, and people are just popping in, and they'll be like, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? Well, I'm making breakfast, and then they'll come back a couple hours later and give an update and everything. So it's just kind of one of those growing things. All right. McLovins, good morning, everyone. What time did the show post over the weekend? Well, again, it was early. Ethan Hatcher, good morning, Robbleheads and Rapscallions.
Well, so
that's an Ethan word, rapscallion.
It's very Ethan. So Ethan was not working today.
No, Ethan was not working. I don't know. The chat wasn't up over on the other. I think they've given in and thrown in the towel. I'm not sure. Just close up shop. We'll buy the tower. Jake D3D5B. What's up, nerds?
My nerds.
C Mills. Shirtman C Mills.
Yep.
Good morning, all. Let's get this week started. Rob and Jason got their Rob Kendall Show shirts this weekend. What'd you do with it? You already throw it?
No, it's right here.
Okay. Yeah.
Right here. Put it up for everybody.
Handle with care, man. Mom Kendall needs to get on that shirt. A little wrinkled there. Probably in C Mill's car for a couple weeks before we picked him up. But,
I got to
that's awesome, C Mill. Chris, thank you so much.
Yeah, and C Mills has a kick-ass truck, too, so if we need to haul some stuff around, he can help us do that.
We could
sign him up for that, too.
We could literally tailgate in the back of C Mill's truck for the show. And he says he better be seeing them in the show soon. Well, we did that. There we go. Boom. Kenneth Eagold. Good morning, y'all, from the driver's seat of my tow truck.
Oh,
hey, we got a tow truck guy.
So Eagold went to the
now I know who to
went
call.
to the Double D's barbecue,
right?
And he said that baked potato was so big he couldn't even eat it all. It was like I had got like half of it done, and then I had to call it quits.
Oh, okay. The 0601 board, 06010 board. Ma Kendall needs to press new C Mill shirts before they debut on the show. Nah, we just we got it out there raw, and there it is. Who's your simple country lawyer? Back for more. Glad to see you back in the chat.
Welcome.
Who's your simple country lawyer?
Welcome. Great numbers today.
That sounds like a Hallmark show.
Yeah. Excellent.
Who's your simple country lawyer? Jake. Oh, we did Jake already. Pam Kendall.
There's my mom.
You know when the shirt comes up.
Yep.
Old Pam's in there. Shirts are pressed. Guess Rob wanted to throw you all off this morning with the checkered shirt.
That's right.
Hope you all had a great weekend. We did have a great weekend. But, Mom, Kendall, could you please tell him not to wear the checked shirts anymore?
I knew it when I did this morning. I knew you were going to bitch at me about it. I knew it.
So you did it anyway.
Yeah, so I did it anyway.
I'm going to do it just because
But people
I
are
wanna hear
fine.
it.
Look,
no, it's not.
It'll be
You should
okay.
never wear a checked shirt on a video. The old man 68. I could care less about the Bears unless it causes my taxes to rise.
Well, that's the point.
I shouldn't be forced to pay for a team that I will never go watch play, let alone ever see the stadium. 0% tax increase for me.
Well,
yeah, I mean, to me, the Chicago Bears will be the Chicago Bears whether they're playing in Hammond or Chicago. If you want to bring them down to Fishers, okay, but as long as they're called the Chicago Bears, now if you want to call them the Hammond Bears, I could get behind that. Now, I don't want to pay for it, but I mean, if it's still the Chicago Bears, then this is all BS.
Well, some people made that point. They said if you're the city of Chicago and you are the Illinois legislature, other than the embarrassment of quote-unquote losing the Bears, why wouldn't you – all those people are going to be – not all of them, but most of them are going to be Chicago people that are coming anyway.
Right.
They're going to still use – they're not just going to, like, spend their weeks in some village that you're creating.
Right.
If they're going to create this loop and, you know, all this railway and everything, just let Indiana pay for all of it. If you're going to still get benefit out of it, just let Indiana pay for all of it.
Right. Well, it's like, I mean, you got my brothers were talking over the weekend. You got the Jets and the Giants both in. They're not in the Meadowlands anymore. What do they play now?
MetLife.
MetLife. There we go. In New Jersey. Is the point. So both New York teams in New Jersey. This stuff makes no sense. Baby Fishmouth. That seemed like it went pretty smoothly. That would have been talking about our new audio edition. And the funny thing is, we can't hear it when we're playing it. A deaf person could literally run this show. I don't mean to make light of deaf.
Right.
But if I were to go deaf in my old age, I could still
run the show.
Be producer Jason.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because we just look at the meters like, I hope that's level. And apparently, according to Baby Fishmouth, it went pretty smoothly.
Great.
All right. Connie Lindsay liked it. Thanks, Connie. Debbie Holcomb sounded great, even though it was Braun. LD Stoltz, audio is good. Seems like a real news program we got going here.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Josh Richardson, audio sounded great. Debbie Holcomb, great Monday, audio added. Steve Green with an E. I guess I don't mind audio, but I can't stand to hear Braun speak. D Nice, 16. Audio sounded good. Great addition to the show.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you, sir. Everybody seems to like the audio.
Good. Well,
we could do video eventually one of these days, but we don't even know if this is going to be a video show in a few months from now. That's why we're keeping everything kind of on the generic side. We don't know what's going to happen here. Contractually things go on, and we talk to people, and they talk to us, and we'll always have the video going, though. This is something that we do enjoy, so regardless, and that's in other words, we'll probably always be in the studio. We just may be piped somewhere else. So I'll stop talking now.
Thank you.
Okay. Robert Schwartz.
Great.
Oh, come on. Well, let me tell you. Robert Schwartz. Oh, come on. This is a chat mob. If you turned us all loose in the same room, we would be like a bunch of daycare children fighting over the toys. Well, you'll get your opportunity.
June the 27th.
That's right. Go buy your ticket, Robert Schwartz.
June the
expect
27th.
to see you there. The old man, 68. That's saying a lot about the Bears, considering who's running the Colts right now. Not sure what.
Referencing how incompetent the McCaskies are. No. The McCaskies make the Irsay family look like Vince Lombardi.
Yeah, I'm going to have to hit that dang camera again here, Rob.
I'll filibuster.
You want to filibuster for a moment while I make my quick exit?
Hey, guys, don't forget, if you haven't done so yet, please hit the like button. That really helps us grow. Lots of new people. We've been growing by leaps and bounds the last several shows. Thank you to that. You can really help us out. That YouTube algorithm, hit that little thumbs up button. Helps us grow the program.
What was somebody saying about professional a minute ago? I'm back. All right, so let's continue on. Robert Schwartz. We just said Robert Schwartz. We just did the old man. Now we'll get to Chris Ludy.
Yeah.
Charles Ludy.
Charles Ludy.
I got to apologize to Charles. I called him out in the chat on Friday, and then I went back and read the chat. It wasn't Charles's fault. It was a thing going on, and I'm not going to get in detail, but it kind of sounded like I was insulting Charles there, and that was not the intention.
Yeah.
That was not the intention at all. So Charles, you're a champ. You're very important to this chat. So please stay with us. And apparently he did. So he says, the General Assembly told everyone at a tax rally they didn't have any more money to fund more projects, but we pay $1 billion to fund a new stadium, and the team's rich owners follow the money.
That's right. Yeah, you better hope it's $1 billion. I think it'll end up being a lot more than $1 billion. But, I mean, they always have money for whatever project they want to do. They didn't want to help you with property taxes. That's why they wrote the bill the way they did. By the way, I emailed an informal appeal today, which I tell everybody to do, or last night I did. I'll see if I get an email back today where I looked at my neighbor's assessments and mine, and I don't believe they're accurate, or mine's accurate. So I'll call over there today if I don't get an answer. They're usually very nice, and I'll walk through everybody with that once I get a resolution.
LT Wilson.
Real quick, June 15th is your last day to appeal if you want to appeal your property taxes.
There you go.
So get it in now.
LT Wilson. I think Hour 3 should be called the John Rust Hour. Yep. And people seem to like that. The John Rust Hour. The commercial-free.
Yeah, brought to you by John Rust.
Hour. That's right. What an awesome fella. All right, moving on. Here, Nicholas Kurtz. At Producer Jason. Legend. Good morning, dude. Good morning, Nick. Baby Fishmouth. It's pretty embarrassing that the Dems governor of Illinois says he'll do what makes sense for taxpayers while Indiana is willing to throw our tax dollars at the Bears.
You know what's crazy when we played that audio earlier of Todd Huston? He was like, done deal, over. And then Braun was hedging.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, we talked to Chuck earlier.
It's not a done deal.
Chuck's like, this isn't even close to being done. No. Here's how the region works, Todd.
Few people taking victory laps like, well, we predicted this and look what happened. Okay, it's not over yet.
That's why
come on.
That's why I was like, how do these people say, all these politicians saying it's over? And Chuck was just like, go back and listen to the interview. Chuck Pullen from WJOB. He's like, these people just don't understand how it works up here.
That is correct. Debbie Holcomb at Charles, they postponed all road projects but gave the Bears a lot of money.
That's right.
Yeah. Am I still? Okay, there we go. Making sure
I watch you. You don't have to worry.
Sure my levels are good there.
I watch you.
The key is to get our levels even so that you're not blasting over me and me blasting over
fine.
you, but part of that's microphone placement and all that. And since you're 5 feet away from your mic, makes it difficult. Steve Green with an E. By winning would require Republicans working through the ballot to vote Ballard. People are too lazy to do that.
I don't know.
Yeah? It's easy to vote R.
It is.
Easy to vote D.
I think it's going to depend on who the Republicans pick and what sort of case Ballard makes. Look, I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you right now, to quit was that the crazy plane lady? I'm telling you right now, when Ballard turns in those signatures, if he gets them, 37,000 signatures, the visual of 37,000 signatures, he will be the lead story in every media outlet across the state. And I think that will really propel him if he can capitalize on it. Now, he's got to come out with a campaign. Look, Ballard's an old guy now, right? He's not a young dude anymore. He's going to have to show some fire. He's going to have to make the case. He's going to have to, he's going to have to want it. And I don't know if he does or not, but that 37,000 signature visual is going to shock a lot of people.
Yeah. Is he in it to win it, or is he just in it because he's bored and doesn't want to sit home with a wife?
Because somebody who's very politically connected,
sure he has a nice wife,
called me the other day. Winnie, yes, his wife's name is Winnie.
Lovely lady.
And they
she may be tired of him. Like, go do something.
The person raised an interesting question. They called me the other day, and they said, I'm considering supporting Ballard, and this person's pretty influential where they live. But they said, what is the Lincoln Party? Like, what are the, not values, but the platform of the Lincoln Party? And I was like, I don't think they have one yet. She's like, well, when do they get one? And I said, I don't know. I guess if he gets gets enough votes to have a party, right? And I was like, that's a great question. They don't really have one because it's not like he's running for governor either. He's running for an administrative position where there aren't really policy positions. So I don't know. I don't know when they get that. I don't know. Do they hire a board of directors? I don't even know how you come up with a party because it's one guy. It's a great question. Great question.
There we go. Pam Kendall. Mom's back in the chat.
Uh-oh.
Mom's active today.
Uh-oh.
At producer Jason. Adding audio to Rob's show really helps make him awesome. Thank you.
Yes.
You're very welcome, Mom Kendall. I do what I can to lift Rob
up. Now, in fairness, I record the audio. I record.
Well,
I record.
And then I made it work.
Yeah, but it's not like you're at home.
You'd make an awesome board op.
You're like at awesome 2 a.m, like you're there loading audio. I record the audio.
And Rob's been wanting to do this for a while, and I was like, okay, but I remember working at WIBC. I always had to grab that audio. It took forever and was a pain in the ass. And we can do that, but you provide the audio.
Yeah.
You bring it in the studio, set the computer down, and I will hit play.
Perfect.
And
bingo.
It's how we share. White Rabbit. See, there's no boss here. That's what makes it good. We do what we do best, and it works. White Rabbit, even though it's your show. Why is Rob in his bedroom? At White Rabbit, C. Mills says, I think he did the interview on Saturday. That's why he's in his room. But, yeah, I hate those Zoom interviews, honestly. But
got to work around people's schedules.
There's no work for me involved, so it's like, go ahead. And we've tried to work on we're getting him a new computer and everything and getting rid of his 1990s.
Can you hear it? That's what matters. Can you hear the damn thing?
His
The answer
Atari.
is yes.
All right. No, it's fine, though. It works well. Charles Ludi. Indiana is a solid red state with a majority of Republicans who are supposed to practice fiscal conservatism, and policies reflecting limited government, and they do the opposite.
Yeah, and so that comes back to this election this fall.
Mm-hmm.
If the Republicans, look, if if Ballard gets on the ballot and it's Bayh and Ballard and the Republicans still win, they might as well just pack it up, right? Everybody, the Democrats might as well pack it up.
I have a feeling this is going to go in Bayh's favor.
I think
just
it
have
is,
a feeling
which I think it'd be
that it's
good.
gonna. A lot of the older people remember his dad, and the older people vote.
Yep.
And I just have a feeling things might spin his way.
Yep.
I don't know. Couldn't say. T. Heller, named Tom Heller. I met Tom.
He sent
on
me something,
Friday.
right? He gave me something.
He did. He sent us some stuff. I met Tom
It's
on.
never a bag of cash, though.
Well, some people do.
I mean, Russ
with
gets
our,
a bag of cash, but everyone else.
Well, that's all right. We need material. We need show material as well as the bag of cash. But no, Tom came out to Shelbyville while I was out there doing the interview with those fine folks there against the data centers, and he gave me some information. Said he's of course, a longtime listener.
Yeah,
and,
great.
And drove all the way up from Columbus.
Oh yeah,
to see me. So a few people popped in, showed up just to see me, which was
that's great.
Very flattering.
You're a celebrity.
Well, I just do what I do. L.D. Stoltz, great interview. Good to hear a little more about what that area is dealing with. I think you should have him on.
Yeah, Chuck's good.
Chuck on again.
Well,
maybe
I've done
sometime.
Chuck's show several times because he had been always like, hey, tell us what's going on in Indianapolis because we don't know up here. And then I was like, well, why don't you tell us about what's going on up there because we don't know.
Right. Regular Jeff, all I can say is if a shovel goes in the ground, buy Hammond Real Estate now. All right. West Dave. Is the Jason he mentions Jason Hammer? You always say Jason, so I always tell you got to say producer Jason. Confuses people.
Oh,
yeah.
No, it's not
Just
Hammer.
Part of what you got to do. No, it's me. Josh Richardson adding these audio clips are great. Hear these people in their own words.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we did it for years on the radio show, and it was just like, how do we do this here without disrupt? Because one of the things we're very careful of is we don't want to overload the computer. Because being on is
we
the
just
most
don't
important
know.
thing.
We spent a crap load of money on it so it would never crash, and it's never crashed.
Knock on wood. Yeah.
But, anything you do for a show, like we've added audio, now that's going to be a staple of the show.
Right.
No problem. You start doing it, you got to add that, and you got to do it every day. And then it's the upkeep, and then it's the daily grind of, okay, now we got to get the video ready, or we got to get the audio ready. So that's why Rob can get audio ready himself.
Yep.
He's a big boy, and so that works out well. If it was video, I would have to do it.
Yep.
So that's but we will, again, we don't know what's coming down the road, so we'll see what happens. Don't want to get too deep into the production stuff and then toss it all away. Josh Richardson adding I just read that. Okay, Debbie Holcomb, she agrees with Josh that adding the video was a good call. McLovins, answering West Dave. By the way, West Dave, I haven't seen that name, so thank you for joining the chat there, West Dave, who asked who was Jason. McLovins answered, it's our producer, Jason.
You belong to the people now.
Yes, this.
Yes.
West Dave adds, his second comment was, Rob's doing his best to get Bayh elected. Well, we have been talking about him.
Well, I mean,
you need Rob's point is you need a shakeup.
Yeah.
You just keep putting R's in there, and it's like, that's just
I don't care if it's
which makes Rob sound like a liberal, but he's really not.
I don't care if it's Bayh or Ballard or whoever. The Republicans will not govern like Republicans are supposed to until they start losing. Because as long as they believe they're inevitable, their win is inevitable, they're going to always appeal to the donors and the lobbyists and the special interests. Look at what's going on in Hammond right now, guys. Look at what goes on with the utility bills. Look at what's going on with the data centers. All of this stuff where you get, look at what happened last year with property taxes. You get screwed because these Republicans believe no matter what they do to you, you're going to keep voting for them. And the only way to stop it is for the Republicans to start losing some elections and learn things the hard way.
Oh, and Mad Duck pointed out Hammer is Hammer.
That's right.
Yeah, he's rarely referred to as Jason.
Yeah, we don't call him Jason.
Yeah, that's right. So, all right. I kind of like producer Jason, though. All right. Almond Joy Tempo at Steve Green. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's back it up to Steve Green. No, let's back it up to Andy Engel. Let's go all the way back to the top.
Andy Engel.
Andy Engel. Oh, man. I went to Double D's on Friday. It was so freaking good.
Yep.
Steve Green adds, think Double D Barbecue could cater the tailgate party before the show, before Rob's live show. Almond Joy Tempo. There's going to be tailgating? ? Steve Green with an E at Almond Joy Tempo. I will be tailgating. It might just be me and my squeeze, but I plan on it. I hope we get good weather for that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, there's also the Greenwood Freedom Fest going on that night, so I think they're hoping for nice weather as well.
Yeah.
Somebody got shot in Greenwood over the weekend. It's kind of a normal thing now.
One of the things I thought about.
Some kid shot another kid in the foot at the festival.
You got to be kidding
Can't
me.
go to a festival in Greenwood now without getting shot.
Oh,
crazy.
Got to be kidding me.
Crazy. At Steve Green. I plan on being there around 5 p.m. for the tailgating to begin.
Oh, very good.
So we're gonna have to organize this. Well, we don't have to organize it. We'll make sure everybody knows what's going on.
Whatever happens in the parking lot at Mad Hatter is up to the Mad Hatter in the parking lot, whoever owns that parking lot.
That's right. McLovin's, I haven't gotten a ticket yet.
You got to do it.
That's what Steve Green says. Got to jump on that.
Yeah, come on, do it today. Don't wait. They're super cheap. They're very affordable. You'll have a great evening.
That's right. Ethan Hatcher, if the theft. Okay, now we're talking about vote. Theft.
Oh yeah.
Okay, the Trump interview.
Yeah.
If the theft is so obvious, then why can't they describe the process in detail and point to the illegal ballots? Show us the illegal ballots. The old man 68 replies, because the logs have been produced showing fraud, but they continue to ignore it. People getting sentenced for voter fraud is evidence. But let's just keep saying, where's the evidence? Golf Tango X-Ray, facts or no facts. I enjoy hearing some media hack getting smack from the president. The networks are propaganda machines for the left. Debbie Holcomb adds, like Obama getting 100% of the votes in many Pennsylvania counties in his second election. Well, Freddie Williams add, Kristen Welker is hot in my opinion.
Okay, so let's talk about this.
I have a couple more election if you want to.
Okay, no, that's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. Regular Jeff, I believe the elections in the United States have been fraudulent for years, just like every other country. Ethan Hatcher comes in. That's not true. Diego Morales even found illegal ballots when he went looking for them. Ethan kind of contradicted himself there. He said, show the proof, and then he says Diego Morales found illegal ballots when he went looking for them.
Maybe he went no, because he found one. He found the one guy, right?
Maybe Ethan had a typo. Ethan, make sure you type correctly.
Okay.
No is a big omission.
Well, right.
From a sentence.
They found what, the one guy, because everybody laughed. They were like, you spent all this money, and then one guy got charged or whatever out of it.
He's responding. Go
okay.
ahead.
The problem with the balloting is when you don't know who gets the ballot and you don't know who fills out the ballot and you don't know who sends back in the ballot, that is a major issue.
Right.
And that is why Indiana doesn't have that issue, because there is a I'm against the absentee voting, the mail-in voting. Like, I think it's ridiculous how long you have to do it, but they do it. But at the very least, to early vote, to absentee vote, there are super strict guardrails around, which mostly, now look, theoretically, if you had an aging parent who didn't know what was going on, you could do that, right? You could send their ID and you could do all that, right, and pull that off. But on a broad scale, in Indiana, the reason you don't hear about voter fraud is because of the voter ID, which is why it's ridiculous they won't pass that SAVE Act and that Republicans are voting against it, because California, you have no idea who's getting these ballots. You have no idea who's filling them out. You have no idea who's sending them back in. And you've got, 8, 9, 10 days after the election to count the ballots.
Crazy.
That's ridiculous. I'm not a person that believes the machines make the changes. I do think, though, when you don't have, at least in Indiana, that's what I have to work off of. When you don't know who's receiving a ballot, when you don't know who's requesting a ballot, when you don't know who's filling out the ballot, and you don't know who's sending the ballot back in, that opens up all sorts of potential shenanigans. And people aren't going to have confidence. Even if there's no shenanigans happening, people are not going to have confidence in the result of the election.
LD Stoltz, I've got a bag of change in my car you guys can have. You said you wanted a bag of cash.
Oh.
Got a bag of change you said you could have. Shrog Sandwich says, my bag of cash is being used for politicians.
Oh, and by the way,
taken by politicians.
Welker acknowledged that in that interview. I can't remember if it was in the audio clip we played or not. I think it was, where she said, hey, there are issues with this, or people are acknowledging there are issues with how California conducts their elections. So even she acknowledged it. That system is ridiculous.
LD Stoltz, again, you asked a second time about the audio, if people liked it, and some other people commented. LD Stoltz, love the audio edition. Ethan Hatcher, I like the audio, Robert. Very professional. Good job, producer Jason. Thank you, Ethan. C. Mills, I'm a fan of the audio. Andy Engel, the audio is great. I'd even take some video, but audio is sufficient. That'll have to do right now, Andy. Christina Hunter, a new one in the chat from what I see, audio is great. Thank you, Christina. McLovin's audio is a nice addition to this award-winning platform. Purple Farmed. I'm not sure what that is. Yes to audio. It's. Oh, I'm sorry. I see purple. Purdue Farm.
Oh, there
D.
you go. Much different.
Okay, Purdue
yes.
Farm D.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yes to audio, but we also need some live reads from his Truth Social post, maybe without the Whitney Houston music.
Doesn't work without the Whitney, though.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. We can maybe make that
I mean, the
work.
Whitney was the funny part.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you could just, like, you can't hear it, but you could hear it in your head and read.
but does it
and-
work from if you're consuming the product not to have the Whitney audio?
That's what I'm saying. You need the Whitney. Oh, yeah, you got to have the Whitney.
Now, I wonder if I'm talking over the Whitney, if YouTube would strike us for
Oh,
playing the
that's
Whitney.
right.
Because that
don't
was our
know.
concern about that.
That is true. Yeah, that is true.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm talking over it.
We'll investigate that. But that's a great comment from a new person. Purdue
Excellent. Thank you.
Farm. Okay. Debbie Holcomb. Love the audio. Indy Kurt. I like when video and audio is used. It gives the speaker's tone. Bartelt Farms. Audio is a plus. He's here because it's raining down in, apparently, Jasper,
yeah.
Du Bois County, so he's able to listen in. Eliminates the standard I was misquoted when something is read.
Because I thought, I read those quotes all the time. I was like, why don't I just, a lot of this time there's audio there. It's like, why don't I just play it?
Yeah. And I believe somebody must have made a comment about, like, with Iran, why Trump doesn't just go in and annihilate them, and something to the effect of, he says, they'll try to convict him for war crimes after his presidency. He can't just turn them into dust. Nah, can't do that anymore. Baby Fishmouth. Traveling several hours for an interview to have the interviewee refuse to answer questions and walk out seems like a reasonable thing to be annoyed by.
So he's talking about the Welker, Meet the Press host. She kept saying, we came all this way to be with you. Now, he had answered a whole bunch of questions. It wasn't like that was we played a bunch of the audio, and there's a whole bunch we didn't even, get to.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, come on. You're going to get that question.
And would anybody have been talking about this interview, like you said,
Well,
if he did do it? She's probably like, thank you, Mr.
That's
President.
probably, no, you're right. Probably deep down there. Because she came back on at the end of that interview and said he's going to do another interview with them.
Oh, okay. So Steve Green says, with an E, Trump needs to keep his ass in the Oval until this Iran thing is over one way or another. Yeah, get it done. Get it done. Get her done. Golf Tango X-Ray 70. I have mixed feelings about Trump, but would you haters have preferred Hillary, Kamala, Joe?
I would have preferred DeSantis. How about that?
Well, okay.
He was an option.
Well, apparently the rest of the I was all in on DeSantis until he started talking.
Yeah,
it's like, nope, you talk like a 12-year-old.
Yeah, the campaign
was... No, there's nothing. You need to... Yeah. Those need to drop a little bit and then come back and see us when you're a grown man.
Which is weird because he's such a cool dude.
Yeah.
Like, he's an alpha dude.
His wife's more ballsy than he is, I think.
I mean,
she came off way more presidential than he did.
Yeah, so that's what
She'd be a great first lady.
He's such a good governor, too. Like, how could you not be, like, totally confident about
Well, maybe
it?
she gives him all his ideas.
Yeah, maybe.
You never know.
It's like our show. You give me all the ideas.
Robert Schwartz. DD's sounds like the barbecue in Edinburgh. Once they sell out of something, the menu options start shrinking.
That's right. They make it all from scratch every day. You got to get there while it's there. They're not making any more of it.
That is correct. All right, Pam Kendall. Chris's shirts are awesome.
Yes.
She didn't want to take only credit for the shirt she does for you. She wanted to make sure and give Chris his accolades as well. So thanks, Mom Kendall. C. Mills. I have the same shirt, but I put my YouTube name on the back of mine so everyone will know who I am at the live show. He didn't put our names on ours?
No. That's us. You
Chris.
put your own name tag.
That's
on
all right. I normally don't just wear a T-shirt. I would have a shirt over it, something like that. Usually, so that'll work just fine, and I'll be sporting mine. LD Stoltz, maybe he should sponsor a watch party. It'll be the biggest. That's true. Trump could have organized a watch party. All right, so we're gonna leave it with and let me back up here, and I hope this is going okay for Debbie Holcomb. On Sunday, she was in the chat, and we're going to leave it with this one. She says, this is going to be a tough week. Our 11-year-old golden retriever, I assume, is in the final stages of soft tissue sarcoma.
Oh, no.
This may be that week.
Uh-oh.
My hubs is also having spine surgery.
Oh, no.
I'm going to need Robbleheads.
Well, everybody rally around Debbie. Of course,
pray for Debbie Holcomb, and she's a great friend of all of us, and hope everything turns out well for all of the issues you're having there.
Debbie's son Michael is our super fan. And,
right.
Yeah,
so pull through and keep us updated. Let us know what's going on with that, because we certainly are thinking about you, Debbie. So all right, so we still need some folks to head over to Producer Jason on Facebook. Hit that like. I need some followers so I don't look weak and like I have no friends or anything. So and working on the Shelbyville video. Thanks to all the folks that were out there with us to do that. Connie Lindsay helping me out there and kind of organizing it there a little bit. So we'll should have that. Let's say Wednesday, but don't hold me to it. But it'll be this week.
All right, great job.
All right, I'm out of here. So long, everybody. Brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing.
And that is going to do it for us today. If you guys haven't done so yet, please hit the little thumbs up, the like button. If you're feeling generous throughout the course of the day, share our feed, subscribe to the channel. And don't forget, we're running out of days, guys. We're running out of days. If we don't have good attendance, John, the owner at Mad Hatter, he's going to be very disappointed in me. Don't let me have to face John's disappointment. Get your tickets. Live show. It's going to be an awesome event. You guys have been buying the tickets. It's been great. Live show coming up June the 27th, Mad Hatter Comedy Club Events Center in Greenwood. Get your tickets, robkendallshow.com. Love to see you guys there. Let's have a great evening together. You guys have a great rest of your Monday. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you back here on Tuesday, 9 until noon. For producer Jason, I'm Rob Kendall. You've been watching Rob Kendall Show.